The Happiness Checklist for Highly Sensitive People. This is the full version of the book reading. The book is written in the first person by the author, so I will not modify it and will simply relay the content to you in the author's voice. Let's begin. Introduction. What are highly sensitive people? Definition of highly sensitive people. In this chapter, I will introduce the definition of highly sensitive people based on Dr. Aron's theory, combined with my personal understanding. Do you experience any of the following? Feeling exhausted after spending a long time with people? Feeling anxious when someone around you is in a bad mood? Noticing details and spending more time on work? Easily feeling fatigued and stressed? Highly sensitive people often notice subtle things that others around them don't easily perceive. They are sensitive, though this is often misunderstood as being caused by personality traits like caring too much or being too serious. However, Dr. Aron's research shows that on average, 1 in 5 people is born highly sensitive. He points out that there are differences in the nervous systems of the brains of highly sensitive people and non-sensitive people. The degree to which the brain becomes excited when stimulated by light, heat, etc., varies from person to person. But compared to non-sensitive people, highly sensitive people react more strongly when stimulated. From this, we can see that sensitivity is innate, like height, with factors determined before birth. This is true not only for humans, but also for higher animals like horses and monkeys, where about 15 to 20% of the overall population is more sensitive to stimuli. This may be an evolutionary trait to help the species survive and reproduce by having some more sensitive and cautious individuals. There is another study on the temperament of highly sensitive people as infants. Harvard University psychologist Jerome Kagan found through research that about 20% of babies react quite sharply to external stimuli, such as waving their arms and legs vigorously, arching their backs as if trying to escape, or crying loudly. During childhood, when exposed to the same stress, highly sensitive children secrete more substances in their brains that cause neural excitement, norepinephrine, than other children. Additionally, when these children are in a state of neural excitement or alertness, they secrete more cortisol in their brains than other children. Highly sensitive people perceive things in many aspects, not only external things like other people's emotions, the atmosphere of a place, light and sound, and environmental changes like temperature, but they are also always aware of internal things like their own physical condition, mood, and new ideas. Some people are sensitive to sound, while others are sensitive to other people's emotions. The objects and degree of sensitivity vary from person to person for highly sensitive people. But undoubtedly, sensitivity affects not only how they build interpersonal relationships, but also their work and life. 4 traits of highly sensitive people. In Elaine N. Aron's book, The Highly Sensitive Person, according to Dr. Elaine's research, sensitivity is based on the following 4 traits. Does. If any one of these doesn't apply to you, you cannot be called a highly sensitive person. Depth. Highly sensitive people can instantly perceive multiple things and notice details that others easily overlook. Rather than the surface of things, highly sensitive people tend to focus on their essence. Overstimulation. Highly sensitive people are better at perceiving and processing information than others, so they also get tired more easily than others. Moreover, because they are sensitive to sound, light, heat, cold, pain, etc., they feel exhausted even in pleasant activities due to external stimuli, and they may also have trouble falling asleep due to excitement. To release the excessive stimulation they receive, highly sensitive people need a period of quiet alone time. Emotional and empathy. Highly sensitive people have strong empathy and are easily influenced by others' thoughts and emotions. Compared to non-sensitive people, mirror neurons, nerve cells that allow people to empathize, are more active in the brains of highly sensitive people. Therefore, these people don't like watching negative news and violent movies, etc. Subtlety. Highly sensitive people are more likely to notice subtle things that others don't easily perceive, such as tiny sounds, faint smells, the tone and mood of the other person during conversations, and others' mockery and encouragement towards themselves. Of course, what highly sensitive people tend to notice varies from person to person and cannot be generalized. 6 types of happiness possessed by highly sensitive people. Next, I want to tell you about the strengths of this group that I've learned through my work providing counseling related to highly sensitive people. Highly sensitive people are prone to feeling stress, which can be a burden to some extent. On the other hand, the sensitivity of highly sensitive people can also be a source of happiness. In this book, I've divided the happiness possessed by highly sensitive people into 6 types. Of course, everyone's definition of happiness is different, and these 6 categories cannot cover all the happiness possessed by highly sensitive people. Here, I'm just providing a general direction. Also, this doesn't mean that non-sensitive people don't have these types of happiness. I just want to express that highly sensitive people can feel these types of happiness more deeply. 1. Happiness of rich perception. Highly sensitive people are good at finding small things and enjoying them. 2. Happiness of sharp intuition. Highly sensitive people can instantly find things that suit them. 3. Happiness of deep thinking. Highly sensitive people focus on the essence of things. 4. Happiness of good expression. Delicate emotions bring rich expression to highly sensitive people. 5. Happiness of responsibility. When for oneself and for others overlap, highly sensitive people show great strength. 6. Happiness of strong empathy. Highly sensitive people care about others' emotions. Key points for highly sensitive people to increase happiness. Stay away from result-oriented thinking. Take time to feel and experience the process to increase happiness. One key point to increase happiness is to stay away from result-oriented thinking. The moment of admiring the beauty of the sunset. The moment of saying one more bite. When the carefully prepared soup tastes delicious. The moment of feeling happy because of the coffee shop staff's smile. What can illuminate one's heart is not thoughts like improving efficiency or finding a certain goal, but the warm feelings of moments when you simply exclaim from the bottom of your heart, how beautiful, how delicious, how happy. Perceiving happiness has no utility, you just need to feel it slowly with your heart, because happiness exists in the subjective world. However, result-oriented thinking is prevalent in our lives today. Everything should be efficient and quick, improve productivity, be a useful person. These result-oriented concepts exist in the objective world. The basis for result-oriented thinking is comparison, whether something is valuable compared to other things, whether efficiency has improved compared to before, how productivity is, and so on. Result-oriented thinking is centered on the perspective of how society and others judge, focusing more on results than one's own feelings. Although work requires producing results, if you only think about the results, it's difficult to feel the happiness that comes from satisfaction. Waking up in the morning, seeing the sunshine outside, exclaiming, "The weather is so nice," and feeling cheerful. Tasting delicious food and appreciating the chef's craftsmanship. Not jumping to conclusions, but thinking deeply until you can fully understand. This kind of slowly permeating happiness needs to be felt by oneself. It cannot be measured by the eyes of society and others. If you pursue results too much, this happiness that should have been felt will be seen as useless things, unproductive, unhelpful, and disappear. Among the people who came to me for counseling, many had improved conditions after receiving counseling. I received feedback like this from them. On the way home after counseling, I saw the bright colors of the advertisements in the train and thought that they were beautiful. I could hear the birds chirping more clearly. They realized that they had been bound by thoughts like, "I must achieve results," and "Whether it's a hobby or work, if I'm not better than others, it's meaningless." When they had thoughts like, "It's okay to be myself, it's okay to cherish my own happiness," and felt at ease because of this, that's when changes began. It was as if their ability to perceive happiness was suddenly activated, and from then on they could fully feel the beauty, gentleness, and joy of the world. The stronger the sense of happiness, the better the results. Results exist in the objective world. Happiness exists in the subjective world. Here, I want to tell everyone that these two are completely different in nature. Some people might think, if I cherish my own happiness, won't I be unable to produce results? However, results and happiness are not in an equal exchange relationship. Interestingly, cherishing your own happiness will actually lead to better results. Related content will be explained in detail later. Make full use of sensitivity to create happiness for yourself. The second key point to increase happiness is to make full use of sensitivity to create happiness for yourself. Feeling fully, thinking thoroughly, experiencing deeply. This kind of sensitivity can be used for others, and it can also be used for oneself. Highly sensitive people are rich in perception, so they can accurately grasp others' needs and listen to voices from the outside world. This way, for highly sensitive people, sensitivity often becomes a tool to help others, while their own needs are pushed to the back. Here, I want to call on everyone to first use sensitivity for their own happiness. After you become happy yourself, you will naturally become gentle to those around you and be able to help others without expecting anything in return. Chapter 1. Happiness of Rich Perception. What is the happiness of rich perception? Highly sensitive people can usually detect subtle things that others around them find difficult to notice. They can distinguish slight differences in color and tone, fully perceiving every detail. If this perceptive ability is used to sense the freshness of the air or the gentleness of others, it can help highly sensitive people perceive various beautiful things in daily life, which also becomes a source of happiness for them. Because highly sensitive people have extremely strong perceptive abilities, it's particularly important for them to be in an environment that suits them. Sensitivity can make highly sensitive people more easily feel pain in an environment that doesn't suit them, while in a suitable environment, sensitivity can play a positive role. The happiness brought by perceptive ability is countless. Here, I'll introduce just a small part of it to readers. Feeling a good touch, for example, the fuzz on a peach feels comfortable. Sensing a pleasant fragrance, for example, the scent of osmanthus. Feeling cheerful when seeing fresh vegetables. Feeling happy because of someone's smile. Feeling comfortable in a friendly atmosphere, for example, a school cultural festival. Feeling happy because of good weather. Being deeply moved by a child's words. Being healed by a great space. For example, the feeling of an open terrace seat in a coffee shop is the best. Enjoying the pleasure of discovering small details. For example, the Halloween decorations next to the cash register are beautiful. Sensing your own physical state. For example, relaxing your body and mind by stretching all parts of your body through yoga poses. Sensing your own mental state. For example, strongly feeling emotions like happiness or excitement. Being good at finding others' strengths. Having strong imitation ability, unconsciously learning by watching others' behaviors and manners. Highly sensitive people are good at finding details and enjoying them. For example, when watching a theater performance, they will pay attention to the actors' costumes and small props. When in a coffee shop, they will also notice the seasonally appropriate decorations like Halloween pumpkins and Christmas trees that the shop has carefully arranged. This is because highly sensitive people can feel others' small efforts and the passion behind these efforts. Moreover, highly sensitive people are easily moved by the gentleness of shop staff, and they will sincerely exclaim when the fish for dinner is grilled to be soft and tender. Being good at capturing these small joys in daily life is also a great advantage of highly sensitive people. Perceiving happiness. Take time to fully feel. So, how can we fully perceive happiness? First, highly sensitive people need to allow themselves to spend more time on play and feeling. You might be surprised by this. In fact, the time for perceiving happiness is often deprived because many people consider it inefficient and a waste of time. Even though it's spending time on oneself, why would there be a sense of guilt? Have you ever had situations like these? You like taking afternoon naps in a soft bed, but feel guilty about napping because you think it's a waste of time. You're always very busy and want to relax properly, but once you relax, you feel anxious because you're not producing anything. There are many similar situations. How efficient is it? Who is it useful for? What do others think? If we view perceiving happiness from these result-oriented perspectives, we inevitably think that our time for play and feeling is not allowed. At times like this, we need to ask ourselves, when do I feel happy? When do I feel joyful? When do I feel truly satisfied from the bottom of my heart? Understanding the moments when you can feel happiness is the first step to perceiving happiness. Mr. T, who works in manufacturing, was exhausted from work every day and even on rest days. His mind was full of work-related matters, thinking, "This will wear me out." Mr. T slowly started doing some things he liked. But he felt uneasy about this and often wondered if this was okay. Through counseling, Mr. T understood that life and mood are most important. All along he had been telling himself, I can't put life first, I need to work harder. But after realizing I need to value my life and mood, his whole being became more relaxed than before. Mr. T stopped drinking bottled water from the company and instead brewed tea at home to bring to the company. Although he had always tried to enjoy work, he had never put effort into improving his work environment. Soon after, Mr. T, who loves Japanese tea, bought a special cup that allows him to put tea in according to the concentration he wants, so he could enjoy tea properly at the company as well. In his busy work position, Mr. T used to be hesitant even about going to the bathroom, but now he doesn't mind these things so much. Even when it's very busy, he doesn't get caught up in the thought of, I must do it, but objectively tells himself, don't think that it's not okay not to do it. And his mood has become much lighter because of this. Paying attention to your own happiness and cherishing it, well, makes it difficult to be bound by busyness and results. Like a ship dropping anchor, even if it sways with the waves, it can maintain its original state. Perceiving happiness, making good use of perceptive ability. Another key point in perceiving happiness is cherish bad feelings, just as you cherish good feelings. Perceptive ability is applied to various situations in daily life. For example, in the workplace, if you feel it's better to use this kind of expression for this person, then you will use this expression in documents or materials when dealing with that person. If you perceive that the other person has a hope you do this feeling when facing you, then you will do as the other person hopes. In situations like work and interpersonal relationships where you need to consider others' feelings, people who make good use of their perceptive ability will hide their thoughts of inexplicably irritated or feeling very tired, and do things as usual without showing it. This is an example of only using useful feelings and ignoring useless feelings. At first glance, this seems like a reasonable choice, but it's actually no different from others, conditional love towards oneself. And this state will hinder the development of perceptive ability. Of course, we need to perceive useful things. But if we don't perceive those energy-consuming and relatively troublesome things, it's no different from others' conditional love towards us, like, I like you because you're useful, or please don't appear because you're useless. What I perceive is what's real to me. This self-trust is also part of self-affirmation. Not only in work and interpersonal relationships, but also in taking care of yourself, please make good use of your perceptive ability. When you feel tired, please make sure to leave time for rest, even if it's just a moment. Accept and take care of your feelings, and you'll feel that it's okay to perceive anything, whether it's good or bad. This way, the foundation of your perceptive ability will be very solid. No matter what your feelings are, please cherish them well. Only in this way can we improve our perception of beautiful things in daily life and things that are beneficial to our body and mind. Beautiful things are quiet and subtle. Gentle sunlight. Raindrops quietly falling on the window frame. Aimless conversations with important people. What gradually warms the heart are these quiet and subtle things. People don't need to write functions and effects on the packaging like detergent, nor do they need to proclaim everywhere, I'm so good, or look at me. There exists a kind of quiet, unassuming warmth around us. When we're busy, when we're troubled, or when we want to avoid risks quickly, thoughts like, that hasn't been arranged properly yet, or this must be done this way, always fill our minds, making us unable to pay attention to the quiet and subtle beautiful things around us. If you can't perceive the beauty of things, if you can't feel the gentleness of others, please tell yourself, it's not a big deal, or let's just do it like this. After getting rid of tense emotions, your mind will naturally calm down, and the relaxed state will lead us to a wonderful world. Here, it's full of the beauty of the world and the gentleness of others. They flow towards us slowly like clear spring water from the opposite side. One day, I was walking on a small road near my home, admiring the leaves. Inadvertently, a motorcycle slowly drove by, bringing a gentle breeze. The golden ginkgo leaves, bathed in sunlight, fell with the wind, falling one by one as if seeing off the departing vehicle. This was clearly a road I passed by every day, but at this moment it was as beautiful as a movie scene. I was intoxicated by such a beautiful scene, but the beauty that makes one so enchanted is not something rare. At this moment I suddenly realized that whether it's the beauty of the world or the gentleness of others, they all exist in our daily lives, full of the fireworks of life. I think what we call beautiful scenes are just ordinary fragments we capture from daily life. Even if we forget the beauty of the world due to our busy lives, the beautiful things in this world are still waiting for us somewhere, unchanged. Encountering a beautiful sunset on the way home, so you stop to fully appreciate it. Buying a flower and watching the bud bloom day by day. In autumn, picking up a fallen leaf and admiring its beautiful gradation from red to yellow. Just a little time every day is enough to stop for beautiful things. Just by doing this, you can enjoy pleasant moments. Whether in childhood or as grown-ups today, this world has never lacked beautiful things. As long as we're willing to stop and turn our gaze towards them, we can feel their existence. Releasing stimuli through output when information overload occurs. Highly sensitive people are rich in perception and easily affected by surrounding people and the environment, feeling physically and mentally tired. If these people receive excessive external stimulation, they will become at a loss about what to do, and their mood will also become heavy. So-called stimuli do not only refer to bad stimuli that make people unhappy, like pressure and trouble, but also include good stimuli that make people happy, such as meeting friends, using new social networks, and traveling. Even good activities and things that make you happy, if continued for a long time, will cause information overload due to receiving too much stimulation, just like participating in a school cultural festival every day. Therefore, only by appropriately outputting the absorbed content can the mood be released. Although I'm very tired, my mind is very clear and I can't sleep well. Reading a book, although it's interesting, I feel like I can't take it in. When I go online, I feel anxious, with a feeling of being overwhelmed by information. These feelings of unable to absorb more information are signs of receiving too much external stimulation and information overload. At this time, we need to stop input and use output to dissolve these stimuli. The form of output can be very simple. Text, such as writing a diary or blog, drawing, even simple drawing on a computer, is fine. Singing, calling a friend. These methods are all feasible. When you're mentally exhausted, if you feel it's troublesome to put your feelings into words, you can simply write down with a pen. Just drawing symbols is fine, and it doesn't matter if the writing is incorrect. As long as you can find an outlet for the fatigue accumulated in your body and mind, and release it a little, that's very good. By the way, when conversing with others, you must start the topic yourself first. Our original intention is to find someone to confide in. If we inadvertently become the listener for the other person, we will become even more tired. Therefore, even when making a phone call, before asking the other person, "How have you been lately?" you should first tell them, "I have something I want to tell you," to inform the other person that at this moment you hope they will listen. If you think it's selfish to only express yourself like this, you can be a good listener after you've finished confiding and your pressure has been released. There is a dynamic balance between input and output. If you think the input information is saturated, please output tirelessly. Finding a space to recharge yourself. I have no energy. It's not that I want to sleep. I just feel inexplicably down. There are things I want to do, but I just can't get motivated. Have you ever had moments like these? It's not to the point where you want to rest, but you lack motivation to do things. At times like this, you need reorganization, which is a state between rest and work. Please fully use your perceptive ability to adjust your body and mind and recharge yourself. Just thinking, "I must cheer up" or "I must get motivated" is already very tiring. Doing things is not only about persevering with willpower, but also about using the beautiful things around you to help yourself. Listening to music you like, watching your favorite shows, browsing the social networks of people you're interested in, etc. Go and touch some things that can bring you energy. I especially recommend using space to recharge yourself. In fact, you only need to do 2 things. 1 is to go to a space you like, and 2 is to do nothing and sit quietly for 10 minutes. This is the simplest and most effective method. Don't look at your phone or computer, just sit quietly. Immersed in such an atmosphere, you will feel the pressure release all at once, feel refreshed, and be full of energy again. You might think, "Isn't this just resting?" But for highly sensitive people with strong perceptive abilities, sitting quietly in a great space is self-recharging, injecting enough energy into your inner self. Pleasant scenery, wonderful sounds, fragrant smells, warm atmosphere. When we are in an environment that suits us, the current feeling will permeate our body and mind in all aspects, like a gentle stream, washing away the accumulated fatigue in our body. The space that can recharge body and mind varies from person to person. A quiet coffee shop with no strong lights, only indirect lighting. The library. Being surrounded by books gives a sense of being protected. The terrace of a coffee shop and a tea house with a garden, seats where you can see plants, are the best. The small river near home, with cherry blossom trees lined up on both banks, you can lie under the trees. These quiet places go without saying, but some people also like slightly more lively spaces. I can relax better in a slightly noisy coffee shop. The familiar restaurant I often go to, just greeting the familiar staff makes me feel at ease. A sports bar where you can watch football games. Everyone cheers for their favorite team together, and I also get interested. The hotel lounge. I like the luxurious space decorated with glass and high ceilings. Of course, we can find more than one space that suits us, and choose where to go according to our mood at the time. I don't want to go to a too quiet place like the library today. Let's go to a coffee shop. I miss my old friend a bit today. Let's go have afternoon tea at the coffee shop my friend runs. Please be sure to find a space that can inject energy into your body and mind. Cherish desires. Increase beautiful things. Looking up at the sky, tasting delicious food, feeling the gentleness of others. People who can perceive happiness will also feel warm inside when they encounter these beautiful things. No matter how beautiful the sky is, if you don't have the mood to look up and admire it, you won't be able to feel it. Conversely, even if you have the heart to feel beauty, if you're surrounded by things that have no charm for you, it's also difficult to have the opportunity to feel warm. Perceiving happiness includes two aspects. Self. Having the ability to perceive happiness. External. Beautiful things are around you. Neither can be missing. While the state of your inner heart is important, having beautiful things around you is equally important. I've already explained the content about self. Now let me introduce the content related to the external part. Because highly sensitive people have strong perceptive abilities, it's particularly important for them to be in an environment that suits them. The external environment includes interpersonal relationships, workplace, the house you live in, and the city you're in, etc. When in an environment that suits them, highly sensitive people can absorb energy from the people, things, and objects around them, and their state gets better and better. Conversely, when in an environment that doesn't suit them, highly sensitive people will feel pressure and a sense of discomfort, which is a kind of energy consumption for them. It's not easy to change the environment immediately, especially the workplace and interpersonal relationships, but we can start with small things around us to create an environment that suits us, such as tidying up the room well or placing decorations we like on the table. For highly sensitive people, having beautiful things around is very necessary. The beautiful things mentioned here don't refer to how high-end something is, but rather things that make your heart flutter or make you feel comfortable, things that make you happy to be with, etc., in terms of suitable for yourself. The key to keeping beautiful things around is desire. Please make good use of your desires and gradually increase the beautiful things around you. Fully unleash desires. I want to eat something delicious. I want to go to the seaside and space out. Just want to empty my mind and look at the sea. I want to dress up beautifully. I want to fall in love. Do you have things you want? Is there anything you're determined to do? Is there a future you want to try hard to grasp? To increase the beautiful things around you, desire cannot be ignored. People who suppress their desires are like duckweed, not knowing what they want, only drifting with the flow, being hijacked by thoughts of, should do this, or I hope you do this. Perhaps because poverty has been viewed as a virtue for a long time, we always equate desires, luxury, and considering our own happiness with bad things. In such an atmosphere, people unconsciously suppress their own desires. Mr. O mentioned this in his letter to me. Let me show you this letter. When I heard you say, please be sure to be happy, I felt very uneasy. But should I say uneasy or tense? I'm not sure. Wanting to become happy, this is actually something I've never thought about. Is it time to express desires now? This is how I feel at the moment. Why is this? I've been thinking about this question. In my life up until now, I've always believed that people can't have desires. But I understand now that if you want to be happy, you must have desires. I took the phrase, desires are not allowed too seriously, and instead lost a part of myself. Can't have desires, can't stand out, must give way to others. At this moment, I finally realized that this is my life, but I've been trying to let others play the leading role. Perhaps all along, the one who neglected me the most wasn't others, but myself. I want to slowly change from now on, learn to praise myself, learn to be the protagonist of my own life. Try to ask myself what I want to do. I want to use my sensitivity and delicacy to live nobly. Have a lot of relaxed, leisurely, free time, enjoy life. Engage in work that can heal others. Gain wealth through investment. Set out on journeys. Taste delicious food. Dress well. Get what I want. Find a good partner. Become a happy person. This is my desire now. Happy, joyful, blessed. Desire is the driving force to motivate oneself and obtain happiness. Face your own desires. Honestly say, I want that. I want this. I want to fall in love. If you no longer suppress your desires, then wishes deeply hidden in your heart, like wanting to find a lifelong partner, wanting to live a stable life, will surface in your mind. This is not willfulness or extravagance, but the life you want, the most simple wish. Please fearlessly expect everything you want. Obtain heart-fluttering things from the feeling of happiness. Expressing desires requires some courage. As a first step to muster courage, I suggest everyone replace things that are okay with things you like. Highly sensitive people have strong perceptive abilities, so they get more joy from heart-fluttering things than others. If you replace things you use every day with things you like, the small happinesses in life will constantly increase, and your heart will become warm. For example, buy better socks. Try replacing colorful storage boxes with wooden shelves. Wear comfortable underwear. Grind coffee beans. For me, if I replace inorganic, colorful storage boxes with wooden shelves, every time I see them I feel at ease because of the texture of the wood. When I wear comfortable socks, I become happy when I walk, and because of this I start to wash my socks properly. A certain male highly sensitive person is particularly concerned about charging cables, laptop, keyboard, tablet, phone, earphones. He uses wireless charging methods as much as possible for these products, and for products that must use wired charging, he buys the shortest charging cables and hides the excess parts under the table, not letting them show. Therefore, every time he sees the clean and tidy desk, he says with great satisfaction, "Wow, that's great." The happiness brought by things that are okay and things you like is completely different. When you start to cherish your own happiness, your perceptive ability will also increase. Then things you've taken for granted will make you feel uncomfortable, and you'll start looking for things that truly suit you. Rather than things that emphasize cost-effectiveness like convenience and cheapness, you'll want things that make you feel happy, like comfortable to wear, looks good, makes you feel at ease. I don't really like this cup. The bath towel has become hard. Once you have such a sense of discomfort, please don't cover up your dissatisfaction with, "It can still be used." This is enough. Please go and find things that you truly like in your heart. It's not realistic to replace all things at once, so please start with things at hand. Slowly increasing things you like in life is also a very good thing. Although we say to replace things that are okay with things you like, but every item is important, so where should we start? Why not replace everything around you at once? At times like this, you might want to start with the most important of the 5 senses: visual, auditory, olfactory, tactile, and gustatory, for yourself. For example, when using a bath towel, is there one that you just like for some reason, or one that makes you happy when you get it, thinking, "Wow, I'm using this towel today"? From the selection criteria, some people value the soft touch, while others value the cute pattern. Which sense is valued among the 5 senses varies from person to person. You might want to think about the objects and places you like at home during a relaxing time of the day. Try to recall why you like them. I like fragrant black tea, but the happiness it brings me ends when I drink it. However, every time I see the flowers decorating the table, I feel very happy. I'm not so concerned about whether the room is clean or not. Rather than this, I'm more obsessed with listening to my favorite artists' works with high-quality headphones before bed. For me, there's no happier moment than this. Just like this, although they are all things that make people happy, the types of happiness are different, and the duration is also different. If you don't know where to start for now, please first clarify which sense is most important to you among the 5 senses, and find heart-fluttering things that can satisfy this sense. Get close to nature, regain your own sense of time. Many times we are physically and mentally exhausted, but our brains are still running at high speed. We keep thinking, what should I do next? Should I study for a certification or prepare for a job change by conducting self-analysis and other things I should do in the future? When asked by friends in private, "When are you free?" I also reply immediately, rarely having leisurely time alone. At times like this, we may be caught up in the busy rhythm of society, losing our own space, our original sense of time. Everyone's sense of time is different. Some people like to live according to a rough sense of time like morning, noon, and evening, following the rise and fall of the sun, while others like to calculate the time needed for each task with a stopwatch and strictly follow a schedule. Some people think a leisurely and carefree life is the best, while others tend to speed up to some extent and do things efficiently. The sense of time is intangible, so it's difficult for us to distinguish the difference between ourselves and others. But what rhythm of life is most natural for a person, the answer varies. I suggest everyone get close to nature to regain their own sense of time. When playing in nature, you'll have a feeling of, I wish time would pass a bit slower, and realize that the current busyness is uncomfortable. After I resigned from the company, I did a water sport called stand-up paddleboarding, SUP, which is a type of surfing that uses a surfboard and paddle to glide on the sea surface, as if walking on the sea. The surf shop always had customers coming and going, regardless of gender. Everyone was tanned by the sun. They looked sunny and cheerful, giving a solid sense of security. Marine sports are greatly affected by weather and tides. Even on a sunny day, if there's thunder in the distance, you must come ashore. What surprised me was that everyone would even wait for 2 or 3 hours until the thunder stopped. During the wait, they would either chat with the surf shop owner, read magazines, or repair their surfing equipment. Everyone was not at all anxious about waiting, to a degree that was surprising how leisurely they were. I think this is because people in nature better understand the principle of waiting. Being with nature, something that can't be controlled, perhaps evokes a solid sense of security within oneself. Everyone wants to spend time in their own preferred way, quietly watching the sunset on an island, having a bonfire party with friends, being surrounded by everyone. Such moments are the best. When visitors tell me this, they always look very serene, and from their expressions, I know those are very good times. The rhythm of today's society is too fast, and highly sensitive people are used to completing things one by one in an orderly manner, so they tend to feel uncomfortable in overly busy environments and under the value of, it's okay to be a bit rough, just start quickly. Of course, it will create an uneasy feeling when people who originally pursue quality work in a workplace that values efficiency. The most exhausting thing is that, influenced by the environment, you also start to urge yourself faster. Getting close to nature can help us regain our original sense of time. When we are with nature, it's hard not to be attracted by its rhythm, deeply feeling that it's okay to be slower. In the fast-paced modern society, we inevitably get chased by tight schedules. At times like this, just knowing, it's not that my rhythm is too slow, it's that this society pursues speed excessively, can effectively avoid being caught up by the outside world and regain your own rhythm. The turning point of lifestyle lies in for yourself. When you're at a turning point in work and interpersonal relationships and announce, I want to change my lifestyle, please be determined to fully engage for yourself. You need to spend more time and money than usual, boldly try things you like, which might overturn your original values at times. There are 3 types of services in the world. Services that bring negative values to zero, services that turn zero into positive values, and services that further increase positive values. Services that bring negative values to zero refer to services that eliminate pain and troubles. It's like a kind of treatment. Services that turn zero into positive values refer to services that are not troublesome if you don't have them now, but better if you do. They're more like comedy shows and other entertainment, or addictive products. Services that further increase positive values refer to services that can make an already good state even better. It's like Disneyland. Visitors go to Disneyland with the mindset of enjoying happiness. And there, staff members playing various roles welcome them with smiles. This enthusiasm brings them more happiness. Also, athletes maintaining good physical condition, etc. These behaviors that further promote results also fall into this category. Because the purpose of services that bring negative values to zero is to eliminate pain and troubles, people rarely feel guilty when in this state, just like people go to the dentist when they have a cavity or get a massage when their shoulders are sore. However, services that turn zero into positive values and services that further increase positive values are not necessities, so we may feel guilty when enjoying these services. For example, regarding afternoon tea in a hotel lounge, some people think it's good, while others think it's too luxurious. even though they can spend the same amount of money on massage or company gatherings without hesitation. Where to spend money easily reflects a person's values. However, simply indulging in luxury to make yourself happy can sometimes become an opportunity to change your life. Miss N, a single mother, had to bear her child's education expenses, and in order to prepare for future life, she lived a very tight life. One day, while thinking about how to use her consumption points, she thought of the hotel afternoon tea she had seen in a magazine by chance, thinking, if I use points, I won't have to spend that much money. She made up her mind and went to that hotel. When she was enjoying snacks alone in an elegant environment, she suddenly realized that she had been working hard every day for her child's future, neglecting her own happiness for many years. In order to find herself again, she wanted to work more freely, so she quit her high-pressure job where she had to carry her work phone even on rest days, and became a freelancer. Her lifestyle also changed a lot. Now she puts her own happiness and joy first, cherishing the time spent with her child. Another example is Mr. F, a business owner. He had always believed that the value of life lies in achieving success at work and gaining the trust of clients and employees. He had no concept of spending money on himself. Although he would buy suits for work, buying everyday clothes always gave him a headache. He even thought about living a life where he didn't need to wear clothes. He tried to avoid white clothes because they get dirty easily. But after buying white pants once, Mr. F's mood unexpectedly became very good. So he started paying attention to his appearance, getting up early every morning to style his hair, and buying nice clothes not for work, but for himself. Because he had this pursuit, Mr. F now gives an impression of being more individual while maintaining his steadiness. On the positive side, Mr. F has become more ambitious and is working harder than before to expand his business territory. In Japan, for others is often considered good, while for oneself is seen as selfish. In this atmosphere, no one tells us, it's very hard to only be for others. Yourself is also important. Highly sensitive people are good at capturing others' needs, have a responsible attitude, and strive to maintain social norms, so they always tend to be for others. Their true hearts are always covered by layers of veils like, who is it useful for? For the future. Is it troublesome? How's the productivity? Don't be timid at the key moments of life. Boldly engage fully for yourself, and you can peel off these veils layer by layer. After that, you can slowly see the lost self covered under the veils, and slowly find back everything you truly like and want to cherish. Chapter 2. Happiness of Sharp Intuition. What is the happiness of sharp intuition? I don't know why, but I just have that feeling. I understood as soon as I saw it. Highly sensitive people possess this kind of sharp intuition. Cherishing intuition can help highly sensitive people increase the beautiful things around them, find like-minded people, and make their daily lives full of excitement. Moreover, intuition is also the compass that guides highly sensitive people to find what they want to do. Following intuition can lead you to a happiness you've never imagined before. Intuition also has the power to transcend thinking. By making good use of both intuition and rationality, you can reach areas that thinking alone cannot reach. Now, let me introduce to you some of the happiness brought by sharp intuition. Understanding what are beautiful things for yourself. Knowing the best combination. For example, intuition will tell you this matches well about the combination of utensils and coasters. Knowing the best state. For example, when you're making materials, you'll know this color of chart looks more comfortable. Being able to distinguish whether the other person's words are true or false. Being able to grasp the essence of problems. For example, you'll suddenly realize while quickly browsing information, even when facing someone you've just met, you can feel, I can become friends with this person. Easily generating inspiration. For example, after storing some information in your mind, inspiration flashes while you're taking a walk. You can achieve results beyond imagination by using intuition and thinking. Being able to use bodily sensations to judge the direction of life. For example, when you're doing the right thing, your body will feel light. Conversely, when you're doing the wrong thing, your body will feel heavy. Make good use of intuition to choose heart-fluttering things and people. Intuition tells highly sensitive people what are beautiful things for them. For example, highly sensitive people can judge whether a person is compatible with them based on their first impression alone, and know whether a coffee shop will make them feel comfortable just by looking at the external environment. Speaking of intuition, some people might think it's a mysterious feeling, but the intuition we're discussing here is not something special. It applies to everyone. We buy stuffed animals that we call cute at first sight and cherish them for a long time. We become friends with people we feel are good people when we first meet them. You must have had such experiences before. Among my visitors, there are highly sensitive people working in manufacturing who tell me they can sense problems during the operation process. When I feel something is wrong somewhere and go to check, it turns out there really is a mistake. The places where problems occur always give me a strange feeling. Here we call this kind of inexplicable feeling, or knowing without any basis, intuition. Intuition is the power of instant understanding. Logical thinking draws conclusions in the order of A leads to B leads to C. In contrast, intuition will immediately tell you this is good or this is dangerous. Intuition can reflect a person's values. I'll explain this in detail later. By choosing heart-fluttering things and people according to intuition, over time, we will have more and more things that fill our hearts and people who bring us vitality around us. And the exciting moments in our lives will also constantly increase. Rely on intuition moderately. As mentioned earlier, highly sensitive people have sharp intuition, but the degree to which intuition is used varies from person to person. Some people fully rely on intuition in work and life, while others hardly make good use of intuition at all. From my experience as a counselor, people who constantly strive due to anxiety usually give an impression that their intuition is sealed off. There are two types of effort. One is natural effort based on passion, and the other is self-disciplining effort stemming from anxiety. Intuition is a kind of inexplicable feeling without any basis. If a person is too anxious, they will think more rationally and tend to choose safe and useful things rather than relying on intuition. However, rationality is something everyone has, so let's use it a little bit on the premise that we have intuition. The dishes in this restaurant must be delicious. The dishes in this restaurant don't look tasty. Like this, I can judge whether the dishes in a restaurant are delicious, to my taste, just by seeing the exterior of the restaurant. Even for places I haven't been to, without knowing feedback from other customers, I can judge whether the restaurant is delicious or not. My husband finds this incredible and often asks me, "You're rarely wrong, how do you know?" Little does he know that in the past, I would only think rationally and never relied on intuition like I do now. A few years ago when I was traveling in Kamakura, Japan, I saw a house that at first glance I couldn't tell if it was a private residence or a shop. "Is this a shop? It feels very nice." I walked along the fence on the spacious grounds and saw a small advertisement board and menu at the entrance. There was a photo on the menu. It was a side view of a beautifully cut cheesecake, and the moment I saw it, I knew it must be delicious. It was already evening and there were almost no customers entering the shop, but I decided to go in and check it out. Upon entering, I saw a well-maintained garden inside, with a small pond and a borrowed scenery hill. The cheesecake and tea snacks I ordered were all very delicious, and I got to enjoy a pleasant time in a beautiful environment. This incident made me wonder, can I judge the taste of a restaurant's dishes just by its exterior? Since then, I started relying on intuition and constantly trying restaurants that I thought must have delicious dishes, based on their exterior. This included a very cheap yakiniku restaurant, which was so cheap that I couldn't help but doubt, can yakiniku at this price be delicious? But I still followed my intuition and went in. Surprisingly, the restaurant's meat preparation was very good, both in texture and taste, and the staff were also very friendly. After fully trusting my intuition, I found more restaurants that suit me. Of course, this is just a small example of using intuition in my personal life. At work, I similarly rely on intuition moderately. Intuition is a developed form of perceptive ability. People can use intuition because people originally possess intuition. If you always think rationally, intuition will gradually rust until it disappears. If you can realize that you have intuition and use it, then as the frequency of use increases, your intuition will become sharper. Highly sensitive people have stronger perceptive abilities than others, so they can accumulate many sensory experiences from life, such as, "It's better to try this way," or "There's something wrong here." Intuition is a feeling that condenses past experiences, allowing people to instantly judge good or bad. Intuition is a developed form of perceptive ability. Believing in intuition is also believing in past experiences. The key to cleverly using intuition is relaxation. Japanese psychiatrist Dr. Shizuka Izutani has explained about people's brains, bodies, and minds respectively. He states that the brain is the base of rationality, good at analyzing the past and simulating the future. The brain has a tendency to control everything. so it often tells us should and cannot. The heart's the base of emotions, desires, and feelings. It focuses more on here and now. The heart will tell us I want, I don't want, I don't like. The heart and body are one. If the brain closes the channel for receiving signals from the inner heart, then these unheard voices of the heart will be reflected in the body as symptoms. Intuition is based on physical and mental health. If you feel strong tension and anxiety, you will think of using rational thinking no matter what, looking for methods that won't go wrong, so it's difficult to use intuition. When intuition can't function well, please take a deep breath, tell yourself it's okay, or go for a walk to relax. Intuition is also the voice of the heart. Valuing intuition means seriously listening to your inner voice. Please try to start using intuition from small things. If you feel this shop might be good, go in and take a look, even if it's your first time going to this shop. If you feel I want flowers, buy yourself a bouquet of flowers that matches your mood that day. If you feel someone is nice, try to chat with them more. If you feel someone is a bit strange, keep a distance and observe the situation. Intuition is continuously improved through verification. You can use intuition to feel and follow intuition to act, thus confirming whether your intuition is accurate. Through verification, you can know when your intuition is correct and when it's not. I know whether I can get along well with someone or not when I first meet them, but if we only exchange emails, I can't know this. Just like this, once you know the situations where you're good at using intuition, you can use intuition better, and the accuracy of intuition will also improve. Verbalizing intuition helps understand oneself. Intuition is a feeling of knowing without knowing why. It's called intuition precisely because there's no basis. However, if you dare to express your intuition in words, you can understand your own values. For example, these 2 points. Why do you think it's good? How did you judge to know? One thing I've felt while providing counseling is the things a person intuitively thinks are good often reflect that person's corresponding characteristics. For people sensitive to color, even if their clothes are in gray tones, their earrings might be colorful. Even if you want to hide it, a person's characteristics can be glimpsed from their possessions, especially small items with more flexibility. Whether it's stuffed animals or journals, when you exclaim, "Wow, how cute" about them, you must have a cute side too. If you're attracted by exquisite and beautiful things, then you must be an exquisite and beautiful person yourself. Not only for items, but intuition used in interpersonal relationships also reflects a person's essence. Mr. Y works as a manager in a consulting firm. According to him, he can instantly know who should be responsible for a certain project, and which people would form a team to achieve the best work results based on intuition. Of course, he also considers the skills and expertise of team members, but rather than skills, he values more the inexplicable feeling of somehow feeling that person fits well with this project. Because of reasonable talent allocation, projects are widely praised, and Meister Y has become famous because of this, with many clients coming to seek his services. Mr. Y is also responsible for the company's talent recruitment. When I asked him what kind of people give him the "it's them" feeling, he replied, "It's those flexible people who can adapt to any situation. People who can talk with both managers and frontline staff, who constantly absorb professional knowledge while working hard. These are the most ideal." Mr. Y himself is exactly like this. He himself is the kind of flexible person who can adapt to any situation, able to maintain good communication with people in different positions, which is why he can give the most reasonable personnel allocation plan. For things you intuitively think are good, why do you think they're good? Try to verbalize it, and you will understand yourself better. For people you intuitively think are nice, they must have beautiful aspects in common with you. The items you intuitively think are very good can reflect your own strengths. If you keep these items around you, whether at work or in life, you can develop more smoothly and at the same time better discover your own strengths. Why do you think this thing or this person is good? Why do you like it? I suggest everyone rely on intuition and verbalize the answers to these questions. This is a means to understand yourself and discover your own strengths. That's nice. I want to try it. Such intuition appears several times a day. We can use intuition as a compass to find what we want to do. For highly sensitive people to live well, it's particularly important to start doing what you like from small things. Although highly sensitive people have a side that's easily stimulated and tired, doing what they like actually makes them more energetic. When highly sensitive people are doing things they want to do, they feel excited and highly concentrated. For them, it's a wonderful time. Although physically tired, they're full of energy in their hearts. This feeling is completely different from how they feel inside when doing things they don't like. It's like the refreshing fatigue and satisfaction gained after appropriate exercise. They say to do what you want to do, but I don't know what I want to do. I can't find work or hobbies that I'm particularly passionate about. If you think like this, then please be sure to make good use of your intuition. Intuition will tell us what we want to do with small voices like, "That's nice," "I want," or you might want to start with these small things. When passing by a street billboard, look at the information about flea markets on it. Want to go to the seaside? Think of a certain friend. Want to know if they're doing well. Thoughts like these that indicate what you want to do, such as "that's nice" or "I want," might appear several times a day. But because they're very weak signals, they might be missed. Adding things that intuition thinks are good to your schedule can magically realize your wishes. If there's something that makes you feel "that's nice," then put it into action. For example, if there's an event you want to go to, book tickets immediately. If you want to go to the seaside, add it to your schedule 2 weeks later. Take decisive action, even if it starts from subtle small things. I'm busy. I have many other things to do. Whether it's travel or shopping, I need to plan it better. The more you think like this, the more I hope you can try to act spontaneously. As mentioned earlier, on one hand, people are composed of brain, body, and mind together, and the "that's nice" and "I want" mentioned here are voices of the heart. On the other hand, being stuck in reasons like, "I'm too busy so I can't," or thinking, "I must choose carefully," this is the voice of the brain. Thinking too much makes people lose precious intuition. This process not only consumes time, but also makes people feel troublesome, making you think, "I'll do it next time," thus putting aside what you want to do. What happened to that person? I want to chat with them, if you have such a thought. Put aside concerns like, "but it might trouble others," or "they might be busy," and try to send a message inviting them. For seminars and events that make you feel depressed, please listen to your heart and choose not to go. Don't use reasons that might pop up later like, "I might learn something," to deny your intuition. Intuition is the voice of the heart. It's the true heart of a person. Valuing intuition is valuing your true heart. For things that intuition thinks are very good, please act on them immediately. For things that intuition feels not very comfortable, please try to avoid them. Follow your intuition to act, and you will encounter more and more happy and beautiful things, and realize that it's not that difficult to achieve them. Traveling, seeing the sea, eating with friends you like, not attending gatherings that make you feel heavy, these things will be realized one by one like magic. When intuition can't function, try visiting a bookstore. If you don't know what you want to do no matter what, and intuition seems unable to function, you might want to visit a bookstore. There you will understand your true inner thoughts. Walk slowly around the bookstore. Among the many covers and titles that enter your vision, there will always be books that you want to pick up and flip through. If what attracts your gaze are books about coffee shops or healing books, it indicates that you want to relax at this moment. If you pick up learning books, it shows that you want to learn and improve. What makes you feel at ease? What brightens your mood? What makes you excited? These contents reflect what you want to do now. Conversely, what makes you feel depressed? What makes you feel uncomfortable? What gives you a sense of moral kidnapping? These contents reflect what you don't want to do now. Especially when feeling down, people might think, "I must change myself," or "I must study well for the future," and might therefore look at books about taking qualification exams, psychology, or self-help, etc. However, if you don't have a pleasant feeling when you get these books, it indicates that these are not what you want to do now, but things you feel you should do out of insecurity. Whether it's books about qualification exams or psychology books, if you want to do it from your heart, you should be excited when you get these books and feel, "This is interesting." Please use feeling happy as a guide to find your true heart. If you feel the bookstore environment is too noisy and makes your thoughts confused, I suggest you go to the library where books are neatly arranged and you can explore your true heart in a relatively calm state. Intuition leads you to unexpected happiness. I've already introduced to everyone examples of using intuition in small things, like participating in activities and adding what you want to do to your schedule. Next, I want to tell everyone that following intuition to act, you will encounter unexpected happiness. Intuition has the power to transcend thinking. I felt it was good, so I tried doing it. I want to join that conversation. Somehow it feels strange. Maybe I should give up. Just like this, using intuition as a guide to develop actions, in this process you will find work you love, meet compatible partners, and collide head-on with things of great significance in life. My friend Meister H is passionate about theater. When choosing club activities in high school, he suddenly thought, Mom's former dream was to become a voice actor, and this triggered his idea of wanting to act. He was a member of the track and field club in junior high school and had never thought about acting before, but after joining the drama club in high school, he embarked on the path of theater like this. Even after entering university and working, he still devoted himself to theater, doing various theater-related things such as performing on stage and holding theater-related seminars. This doesn't mean deciding everything based on intuition alone. After all, intuition only provides you with an opportunity. When following intuition to act, you don't know from the beginning that you're going to do this for life, but in the process of doing it, you vaguely feel, this seems pretty good, or this seems quite interesting. Of course, we might still hesitantly ask ourselves, do I really want to do this? Even after repeating many times. Mr. H's theater work wasn't all smooth sailing either. It's said that he once lost confidence in his acting skills due to poor performance in a theater workshop and resigned from this job. Afterwards, he couldn't help but ask himself, do I really want to act? And even thought about giving up theater for a while. When Mr. H was feeling lost about his future path and thinking about what to do next, the scene of going to the community cultural center alone and doing things he liked there appeared in his mind. So he spent 4 or 5 months going to the community cultural center alone to sing, dance, and read novels aloud. It was this experience that made him realize, I still want to act after all. In fact, even in a field you like, the range where you can continuously invest passion is very limited. At this time, you need to constantly try from various angles by changing methods, changing objects, etc. Slowly discovering, I like to get along with people like this, I like to do things this way, in this process, to find your own style. Please cherish the intuition of somehow feeling good, and the actual feeling after trying to do it. When you're feeling lost, rather than thinking in your mind, it's better to actually do it, to personally experience this process, to choose what truly suits you. Over time, you will embrace things of great significance to your life, things you deeply love. Finding your own path through trial and error, valuing your true feelings, making choices about what to do or not to do. In this process, you will slowly find your own path, what you want to do for a lifetime. What you want to do for a lifetime is actually not the name of a certain profession or a specific thing, but behaviors expressed in abstract language with want, such as want to tell others true words, want to do things quietly, want to move people's hearts. Mr. H, mentioned earlier, not only works in theater, but also hosts gatherings for highly sensitive people, and his side job is also a designer. According to him, what he wants to do is move people's hearts. For Mr. H, theater, gatherings for highly sensitive people, design, these seemingly unrelated things will all lead him to his ideal path, that is, moving people's hearts. And theater, design, etc. are his ways of moving people's hearts. People can't clearly define their path from the beginning. We often try to do something because we're attracted by it, and if we find it interesting in the process, we'll continue to do it. Otherwise, we'll give up. After repeated choices and abandonments, we gradually realize everything is connected, and the choices made at that time are connected to now. Even for very small things, if they suddenly appear in your mind, please be sure to try them. After trying, you might continue to do this thing, or you might feel it's not suitable and turn to find a new direction. Even if it's not clear now, everything you do is a kind of learning that can help you walk on your own path in the future. So don't be timid. Boldly try everything you want to do. To your future self, dressing up can help you change your lifestyle. Being attracted by clothes and colors and styles I've never worn before. Although I've sorted out all the clothes in the wardrobe, I still feel like I have nothing to wear. I used to think appearance wasn't important, but now I'm starting to get interested in clothing and makeup. If you have such feelings, perhaps your life is about to face changes. This is my real feeling from counseling work. Once people start to value their true hearts, their external appearance will also change. Visitors who tied their hair in a ponytail at the first meeting, when I saw them again 3 months later, had let their hair down and permed it into fluffy curls. Visitors who wore black and gray clothes changed into bright-colored clothing. Visitors with heavy makeup changed to more natural makeup. As the state of mind changes, dressing also changes, and a person's true colors are naturally reflected in their appearance. Moreover, expressions and ways of speaking will also change. Because they can express "this is what I think" more clearly than before, people no longer maintain a high level of vigilance towards their surroundings. Those who are used to self-defense to prevent others from seeing their flaws and loopholes, their inner sense of security will increase, and their whole aura will become softer. On the contrary, people who are used to saying okay to everything to go along with others will have a stronger self-awareness and express their opinions more clearly. If a person is not clear about their true inner thoughts, they won't know what kind of clothes they want to wear either. In this case, they tend to choose clothes that won't go wrong. When they start to cherish their body and mind, they will gradually have thoughts like, "This red is too bright, I can't wear it. This clothes suits today's mood. I wish my hair was a bit longer," and understand their mood for the day. So they start to feel that the clothes from the period when they didn't have clear self-awareness are all unsuitable, feel like they have nothing to wear at this time, go and find clothes that suit the current you. If you see clothes in colors and styles you've never tried before, don't doubt. That might be an invitation letter from your future self. Even without words, the thought of "I want to live like this from now on" will take root in your heart. It's reflected in the feeling of clothes you want. Therefore, even if it's clothes that you wouldn't buy according to previous standards, thinking, "This is too fashionable for the workplace," or "This is too flashy," if you really like it now, please be sure to get it. When living with a brand new appearance, every time you wear clothes you like, you can confirm once again, "So I like this kind of thing," and start adapting to the new lifestyle from visual and tactile aspects. From this, we can see that dressing up can help us change our lifestyle. Listen to the voice of your heart, and your life will improve all round. Try to replace things around you with things you like. If you feel happy being with someone, meet them more often. Don't always think, "I should do this now while I can." Please refuse to work intensively and continuously. Look at the scenery, taste some tea, leave yourself some leisure time. Whether it's things around you, interpersonal relationships, or the way you treat time, try to absorb parts that make you feel at ease and become energetic as much as possible. This way you will have more vitality, and your inner heart will also become more at ease. If you constantly increase some time that makes you feel comfortable in daily life, unconsciously, feeling comfortable will become your basic requirement for life. Even if unpleasant things occasionally appear because you take feeling comfortable as the standard, it's also easier to overcome these unpleasant moods. Most importantly, you need to continuously contact good people and things that suit you, and discard those people and things that don't suit you. For example, if you increase the frequency of meeting friends you get along well with, getting along well will become the standard. And for those people who make you feel it's too tiring to be with this person, you will naturally keep a distance from them. By contacting good people and things, you will more easily let go of parts that make you feel uncomfortable, and over time, your whole life will gradually develop in a good direction. Chapter 3: Happiness of Deep Thinking. What is the happiness of deep thinking? One of the characteristics of highly sensitive people is their tendency to think deeply. From various risks faced at work to the stance of others when communicating, highly sensitive people think more deeply than ordinary people. Therefore, they often surprise others. Rather than the surface of things, highly sensitive people pay more attention to their essence, which sometimes leads to disagreements with those around them. Although they easily feel different from those around them, for highly sensitive people, deep thinking is an extremely natural thing, a characteristic that can bring happiness to themselves. Now let me introduce to you some of the happiness brought by the ability to think deeply. New ideas constantly emerge. When seeing good works, they think about the creator's feelings. They pursue things they're interested in to the extreme. They dig deep into their inner feelings. For example, highly sensitive people will review, "Why did I think that way at that time?" Organizing their feelings while writing blogs. They are considerate of others. For example, highly sensitive people don't easily judge others' behaviors, but will consider did something happen for the other person. They accept even a little bit of gentleness from others. They focus on creating works. They create high-quality works through the combination of intuition and deep feeling. They indulge in philosophical thinking about life, lifestyle, spirit, death, etc. Deep thinking. Thinking about the essence of problems. The second characteristic of deep thinking is thinking about the essence of problems. Rather than the surface of things, highly sensitive people pay more attention to their essence, tending to dig deep into them. Hearing the lyrics of a certain band, they will think about what kind of life have these people lived, and with this interest try to make a timeline, tracing which song the band members wrote at what age. When going online, they will think, why can computers connect to the network? What principles are involved in this? And try to understand the history and principles of communication. This is exactly how highly sensitive people are. They have to explore to the bottom when they're interested in something. They fully understand the field they're in and enjoy it through exploration, research, and thinking about things they're interested in. In deep thinking, this ability to think about the essence of problems is closely related to exploration, and exploration brings extraordinary pleasure and joy to life. Speaking of exploration, you might think of inventor Edison or other scholars, researchers, etc. However, exploration is not something that only a small number of people can do. The curiosity that everyone has is the starting point of exploration. Although you don't know why, in your daily life, do you unconsciously think about things that attract you? When you realize that you can spend more time to fully think about ideas that suddenly pop up in your mind, when you pursue want to understand more and want to feel more, exploration begins, quietly connecting with the world alone. The objects of exploration can be roughly divided into self and world. If your interest is directed towards self, you will delve into thought while exploring ways of expression such as writing, painting, music. If your interest is directed towards external world like cuisine, celebrities, politics and economy, social structure, etc., you will investigate and examine the objects you're interested in to deepen your understanding. Whether your object of exploration is self or world, deep thinking itself is a pleasure. Even daily behaviors like writing a diary or writing a blog require sitting at the desk wholeheartedly, recalling what happened that day while looking for appropriate language to describe your feelings. Reading books about social issues, understanding social structures, in work situations, preparing materials while thinking, wouldn't the chart look clearer with this color? Or, it would be easier to convey to the other person if I say it this way. In these scenarios, people are in a state of deep thinking. When deeply thinking, the whole person is highly concentrated, and time seems to stand still at that moment. Even in places with people around like the workplace or coffee shops, you can be absorbed in your own little world without distractions. People first need to be independent internally, then establish connections with what they want to explore through investigation and thinking. When people are immersed in their own world and engage in deep thinking, being alone and connecting with the object of exploration are established simultaneously. Even if people's objects of interest are self, they won't become self-centered people. When exploring self, you will transcend the category of self and reach humanity. And before people have self, they are first members of humanity. People's thoughts are influenced by the values of the era they're in and the culture of the country they're in, the root of which lies in the natural interactivities of being human. Exploring your own thoughts and feelings is also exploring the way society exists, the changes of the times, and relationships with others. Digging deep into your own feelings is thinking about humanity, not unrelated to humanity as a whole. For highly sensitive people, the time of deep thinking is time to connect with the world and humanity at your own pace while being alone. I think this is an excellent way for highly sensitive people who cherish alone time to connect with the world. Alternating use of intuition and thinking will yield results beyond imagination. Please be sure to use intuition when thinking deeply. Through alternating use of intuition and thinking, you can get results beyond imagination. When preparing materials at work, do you have thoughts like, somehow it feels different? When interacting with family and friends, do you also notice their differences from usual? Do you have such situations? It's said that highly sensitive people who work in accounting positions say, if there's an error in the numbers, I feel something's wrong just by looking at the data. Highly sensitive people who work as managers and supervise subordinates say, when I go to the company in the morning and see the faces of team members, I know their conditions. If I feel someone is more likely to make mistakes, I'll talk to them more. After discovering clues like, somehow it feels different, or there seems to be a problem here by intuition, you need to think carefully. Don't deny intuition with, it must be an illusion, or it's probably psychological, but confirm through thinking. Only by using both intuition and thinking can you reach areas that can't be reached by relying on one alone. The generation of intuition is based on body and mind. From the era of Homo sapiens to modern society, human body and mind have been constantly developing. Therefore, I believe that an individual's use of intuition also means getting help from wisdom accumulated by humans for a long time. Self-exploration requires external output. External output is particularly effective for fully experiencing the happiness of deep thinking. Whether it's a blog or a diary, after organizing your feelings at that time through writing, you might be surprised. So that's what I was thinking at that time. Have you had such an experience? It's the same at work. When you present problems in the form of charts, you will realize, oh, I see, and at the same time you might have new questions. When you output externally, any form like articles, paintings, charts is fine. Although it might feel a bit troublesome when you're not used to it, this is the first step towards thinking. It's much more difficult than imagined to think only in your head. No matter whether it's in the form of articles or charts or paintings, expressing your thoughts will free you from limiting your thinking to imagination. This leaves new thinking space for your brain, making looking while thinking possible. At the same time, you can also continue to push forward your thinking based on the ideas you've already output. Stay away from result-oriented thinking, and you will discover the joy of exploration. Whether it's digging deep into your feelings and putting them into words, or trying to make a timeline for artists you're interested in, each task requires you to be solid and serious, spending time and energy. You need to know that thinking inherently takes time, and also need to acknowledge the idea that it's okay to spend time to enjoy the pleasure of thinking. Only in this way can you stay away from result-oriented thinking and experience the joy of exploration. Strengthen connection with yourself through writing about feelings and emotions. I've been providing counseling to visitors on work and interpersonal relationships for a long time, and sometimes I receive letters from them shortly after, telling me they've started writing blogs or diaries. Among my visitors, most people are facing turning points in their lives. They want to get rid of the lifestyle of bearing pressure and always putting others first, and turn towards valuing their true inner feelings. Usually they come to me for help at this time. During this period, the own feelings that have been ignored before will pop up, and there will be more external output during the self-growth period. Whether it's a non-public diary or a blog open to the public without a specific audience, the act of writing can serve the purpose of understanding and accepting oneself. Temporarily put aside the perspective of others, like what do others think or who does it help. Write down your true inner thoughts, such as what you think about things that happen every day, why you thought that way at that time, etc. This way you will understand what attracts you and what you don't like. The act of writing helps highly sensitive people confirm the existence of their feelings and thoughts. Looking at what you've written down, you'll know, oh, so that's what I was thinking at that time. It's a very happy thing to have someone listen to you talk, and writing is like having a dialogue with yourself. It can help you strengthen your connection with yourself. Cherish the moment of facing your inner self at life's turning points. When changing your lifestyle, you will first welcome the moment of facing your inner self. At this time, you might feel lazy to deal with people and want to be alone. As alone time increases, you will pay more attention to your inner self. You might think, is it really okay to be alone on rest days? Do I need to meet friends? Should I write something that's easy for everyone to understand on my blog? However, your true heart wants to spend time on yourself. Your most genuine inner thoughts are, I don't want to see people. It's too time-consuming. Writing this way might be more popular, but if I write like this, I'll regret it later. This is because when people focus on their inner selves, the priority of catering to surroundings will move back. At times like this, please don't mind voices that cater to society, like, how can you not see friends as a person? Or, if you want everyone's approval, but listen to your inner voice. This is what I want to do right now. Please fully accept your inner thoughts. It's okay if you don't want to socialize with others after you face your inner self. You will naturally open up. By facing your inner self and valuing your true thoughts, you will be closer to your true self than before, and you can also meet people who resonate with you. Chapter 4. Happiness of Good Expression. What is the happiness of good expression? Articles, paintings, music, photography, poetry, handmade crafts. There are many ways of expression. What's common is that many highly sensitive people express their inner selves through these methods. Highly sensitive people are like high-resolution cameras, able to receive beautiful things with high precision, savor them in their hearts, capture important moments, and express them concisely. It's precisely because highly sensitive people can feel things around them in detail that they can express them accurately and sensitively. The rich expressions of highly sensitive people have the power to capture people's hearts. This chapter will introduce to you the happiness of good expression that can only be achieved through careful feeling and savoring. Reproduce your own feelings through works. For example, highly sensitive people reflect their feelings towards others by taking photos for them, and find language suitable for expressing their feelings when writing. Understand your inner heart through self-expression. Establish connections with friends through expression to others. For example, highly sensitive people express their thoughts on social networks and establish connections with people who resonate. Persistently train your expressive ability until satisfied. Landscape photos that capture gentle sunlight. Paintings that express inner gentleness. Blogs that seriously record daily thoughts and feelings. Questions and suggestions about society. The expressions of highly sensitive people are delicate and full of thought. The sensitivity of highly sensitive people makes it easy for them to feel the inner pain of others, the sense of discomfort and pressure in the workplace, etc. On the other hand, they can also notice the beauty of the world, the warmth of others, and various social issues at the first moment. Expression starts from valuing your inner heart. From daily life to artistic works, there are many forms of expression. Writing a diary, writing blogs, posting video comments, etc. About fields you're interested in. Cooking, talking with others, singing, dancing, playing instruments, reciting poetry, taking photos, drawing pictures, writing scripts and novels, doing handicrafts, sewing, knitting, making records, recording activities, festivals with illustrations and text, matching outfits and makeup that reflect your inner self. Expressing your inner self in some form, this is expression. Not only simple ways of expression like writing blogs or drawing pictures, but daily small things like cooking and chatting with friends can also become ways of expression. Even for daily dinner, if you fully value your own thoughts when cooking, like cutting the kimchi to this thickness will give it a good texture, putting cold dishes in beautiful plates, I think this tastes good, etc., then this dinner can also express your inner self. Chapter 3 mentioned that there will be more external output during the self-growth period. When you start to value your true thoughts, expression will increase accordingly, and the changes in it will also be richer. People who previously only looked but didn't post on social networks start posting on them, and record their feelings in blogs and diaries, picking up knitting and sewing that have been left aside for a long time, and starting to learn ballroom dancing that they've always wanted to learn. People who used to think cooking was a waste of time also start leisurely frying eggs, learning to enjoy the process of cooking. In the process of valuing your true feelings, you will gradually grow up, and your inner heart will also become more fulfilled. The fulfilled inner heart is initially expressed in ways that people are good at. People who are good at writing will write. People who are good at painting will paint. As expressive ability improves, the range of expression will also expand. People who are not interested in dressing up before start learning makeup and outfit matching. It's the same for people who write articles. While writing, they also start side businesses in fields they're interested in. Through expression, you can know what you like and what you don't like, and what kind of person you are. At the same time, expression will also perfect your intuition, allowing you to make clearer choices, such as, this suits me, or this doesn't suit me. In other words, appearance and behavior will reflect a person's aesthetics. Fashion, life, social networks, work, these will comprehensively present a person's true colors. Like silkworms, absorb good content and produce good content. Feeling beautiful things, savoring them deeply, then expressing them. The expression of highly sensitive people is just like silkworms. Silkworms eat mulberry leaves to produce beautiful silk, while highly sensitive people can only produce good content by absorbing good content. The act of feeling is very similar to eating. Both use the word savor. In my view, feeling is the act of absorbing part of the object of feeling into your own heart and digesting it. To produce beautiful silk like silkworms, you need to absorb good content for yourself. The good content, as elements of expression, varies from person to person. According to a highly sensitive person who works in a company and writes poetry himself, conversations with colleagues and harmonious interpersonal relationships are the basis of his creation. Encountering good content and being moved by it, such experiences will be accumulated as expression materials, like abstracting the deliciousness after eating delicious food, reflecting on your own heart after listening to others' troubles, shooting pet videos and adding impromptu music, etc. Highly sensitive people extract the core beautiful parts from these actual experiences and express them in their own way. At this time, the perspective of seeing through the essence of things, the delicacy of carefully observing things, and the intuition of distinguishing important things that highly sensitive people possess all help them extract the core. So, for you, what is the good content that can become expression material? When was the last time your heart fluttered? Highly sensitive people are suitable for social networks. When you want to convey your thoughts to others, expression is external output. When you want to find like-minded friends, want to establish connections with people who resonate, external output is equally effective. By posting content you like and your thoughts and feelings on social networks, you can meet more like-minded friends. Being able to search for friends in the vast world, being able to express some thoughts deep in your heart that are not easily said to people, from these 2 points, social networks are a tool very suitable for highly sensitive people. Even if there are no like-minded people around you, as long as you search on social networks, you might meet many highly sensitive people like yourself. On the way to the company, you look up at the sky, the sun is shining brightly, the air is fresh, the sky is a light blue. You can't help but stop and exclaim, "Wow, how beautiful." You happen to see a movie trailer, and from the beautiful music and the brief lines of the characters appearing, you feel the warmth and delicacy flowing in the movie, and can't help shedding tears. The feelings of highly sensitive people are delicate and rich. Trying to convey such rich thoughts face to face is limited no matter what. I've tried it too, but if it's not someone I'm very interested in, it's difficult to convey my thoughts to them in the same way as writing a blog. Moreover, if it's face-to-face communication, because all attention is focused on the other person, the depth that one's own thoughts can reach actually becomes shallower. The process of expressing on social networks can be divided into the following 2 steps. 1. Concentrate on focusing on your inner heart and write down your thoughts. 2. Make public what you've written. Generally speaking, compared to face-to-face, highly sensitive people find it easier to maintain their own pace on social networks and can express themselves in a relatively calm state. Content-like questions about society and inner contradictions needs to be selective about the audience and face-to-face communication. The same is true for social networks. You can set it to be visible only to people you're interested in, and content that can't be conveyed at once can be posted in several times. In addition, you can upload photos and pictures, add various titles to articles, or make videos, etc. Try various ways that suit you until you're satisfied. You can post content you like on social networks and look for friends. Compared to looking for people who resonate with you nearby, it's easier through social networks. If you want to find friends through social networks, please don't post content that caters to the outside world, but post things that you internally approve of and think are good. Whether it's flowers photographed by the roadside, information about artists you like, or exploration of your inner heart, any content is fine. In short, it's expressing things you like and your thoughts and feelings in the form of articles, drawings, photos, etc. Everyone has their own thoughts and feelings in daily life, and presenting what you like and what you feel in some form is actually a kind of self-expression. People who see your expression and connect with you are people attracted by your thoughts and sensibility. By posting things you like and your thoughts and feelings, you can make it easier for people with values close to yours to find you. Moreover, you should not only post content that moves you, but if there are people you think are nice, be sure to actively interact with them, such as commenting and replying. Most people will be very happy when there's feedback on the content they post. After commenting or replying to the other person for the 2nd and 3rd time, the other person will also notice you, and gradually you will start reading each other's content posted on social networks, establishing connections naturally like this. When dominated by the number of likes, please confirm the direction of expression. It's worth being happy when content posted on social networks receives praise, but if you have thoughts like, if no one says great, it has no meaning, or aim for being recognized and being seen by many people, expression will inevitably be limited, and you will become unhappy because you deviate from the content you really want to express. So, how to balance things pursued by society and things you want to express? This is a question that many people using social networks find troubling. To clarify this question, let's look at 2 methods of expression: response and deep digging. The former is to meet others' needs, while the latter is to deeply dig into oneself and find universality. Response: a method of capturing and responding to the needs of people around. For example, when others encounter troubles, you give advice. If you have this kind of trouble, it's better to do this. This is also a kind of response. Deep digging. A method of digging deep inward starting from oneself. Think about things that happen to yourself. Investigate things you have questions about. Connect things that happen every day with your interests for examination. And so on, just like sitting in meditation, quietly and carefully think. Find themes you want to express from your own heart. Compared to response, which is feedback to others' needs that exist from the beginning, deep digging is producing content that helps others in the process of pursuing your own interests. Moreover, in expression, the method I recommend to highly sensitive people is not response, but deep digging. Because sending out signals in the way of deep digging can establish connections with others with your true self. Highly sensitive people are rich in perceptive ability. When writing about their own things on blogs, they will also think this is what people need. This kind of reader is more, so writing like this is easier to convey, in order to accurately grasp others' needs. Precisely because the ability to grasp others' needs is very strong, the following situations will occur. Only writing about what the masses need. In this process, you no longer know what you really want to write. The direction of posted content gradually turns towards what the masses demand. If you focus too much on others' needs, the result is that you will not connect with others as your true self, but in a helping role. If you can't enjoy the fun of outputting on social networks, if you feel resistant to the content you post, please don't mind the results of expression like the number of likes and readers' reactions for now. But first, cherish the happiness of expression itself. Once dominated by external needs, the delicate sensibility of highly sensitive people will turn towards others, and the connection with oneself will be weakened instead. Please put this sensibility back on yourself in a quiet space alone, or in a place where you can relax. Please focus on your own heart. Understand what you're really thinking about, what you're feeling. If you want to establish connections with others as your true self, first establish a connection with yourself, then establish connections with others with your most authentic side. For this, please cherish things that make your heart flutter rather than things others ask you to do. This way you can find content you want to express. Moreover, when expressing, you don't need to deliberately polish, nor do you need to compromise. Persistently find the direction of expression that best matches your thoughts. However, expressing your inner heart as truthfully as possible without concealment seems simple, but is actually very difficult, even frightening. Whether it's people who are outputting content on social networks for the first time, or people who have already posted information on social networks before and want to express further, they might produce scared feelings. Will anyone understand what I write? Is it a bit strange that I think about this repeatedly? You might have such thoughts too. True inner thoughts and feelings are very personal things. Since everyone is unique, naturally your thoughts and others' thoughts cannot completely match. And because it's personal, others may not necessarily understand. Highly sensitive people will think to depths that others can't think of because they have feelings and perspectives different from non-sensitive people. So when they speak out their thoughts, they might not be understood and accepted by those around them. If there have been such unpleasant experiences in the past, highly sensitive people will feel more that expressing their thoughts truthfully is a scary thing. But one thing to be clear about is that deeply digging into your own thoughts ultimately leads to thoughts common to most people. When reading books and browsing social networks, have you ever had this feeling? Although the fields and authors are different, in the end, they're all saying the same thing. Psychiatrist Shizuka Izutani mentions in his work that as experience continuously deepens within an individual, the characteristics of the event and personal elements will continue to fade, eventually gaining universality. Izutani compares universality to an underground water layer. If the digging depth is not enough, then water extracted at different depths will have different colors. There will be green water and red water. But if you dig at the deepest point, the water extracted will be the same, because all water will flow to the deepest point. This is the same as human thoughts. After reaching the deepest point, the content drawn will transcend differences in professional fields and individuals, possessing truth or beauty common to humans. Things you originally thought only you would think about, try posting them on social networks, and you can also get echoes from others. Before a person becomes self, they are first a member of humanity. Trust the common parts of humanity, post content as a member of the human community. I think this way you can deeply show your inner heart. Establish connections with others using your true self. The more you think no one will understand if I write like this, the more you should express for yourself. Expression is the act of materializing thoughts in your heart. When you hear your own timid voice saying, "Is it okay to think like this?" please be sure to cheer yourself up. Tell yourself, "I can think like this. I can have this feeling." Output is the act of materializing your thoughts in society. No matter what type and content of expression, as long as you experience life rooted in the current era, write down your feelings. Your expression can reflect this era. Living in the present without losing yourself, what you write can move people. Highly sensitive people strongly feel pain and joy with their innate delicacy and sensitivity. That's why they are touched by small things in daily life, sincerely thinking, "Isn't this what's really important?" Expression accompanied by true feelings is different from things that suddenly pop up in your head. It gives people a steady feeling. This kind of expression doesn't make people understand theoretically, but hopes others will approve from the bottom of their hearts, producing resonance like, "Yes, it's like that. It feels good." To those who have stopped creating, perhaps some people used to be very good at drawing or writing, but now can't draw or write anymore. I want to say to such people, when your life changes, creation will temporarily stop. When encountering pain, there's a method that allows you to temporarily escape. That is, creating a place for yourself in creation to protect your spirit. Because reality is painful, imagination is needed. For humans to continue surviving, the power of imagination also needs to become stronger. Creation becomes a shelter driven by real needs. Some creations also have a self-healing function. You can understand things happening around you through creation, healing wounded hearts. It's a very happy thing to immerse yourself in creation as a shelter. At that time, you will be in high spirits. Ideas constantly emerge. You can't stop writing. The real world we live in has overwhelming power over creation, doing what you want to do, building your own interpersonal relationships. When you walk on the real path of life, it becomes difficult to extricate yourself and enter the world of creation. I used to draw so well, but now I can't draw anymore. I want to experience that excitement of writing novels again, but I can't find that state anymore. These visitors have a common point that life has become stable. They no longer need to escape from reality, or they can heal pain to some extent without escaping reality, so naturally they lose the motivation for creation. At this time, whether as a shelter or self-healing, creation has ended its mission. Creation that plays the role of shelter and self-healing, and creation that starts from scratch in stable daily life have different materials. The former creates based on painful experiences, while the materials for the latter are joy, hope, and things you want to feel. The latter can better reflect your will. If you want to start creation from scratch, please first cherish small happinesses in daily life. In days of living at ease, encounter heart-fluttering things, constantly accumulating creative materials. Unlike creation that pursues functionality, this time you can explore fields you're interested in according to your own will and ultimately return to life. I think no matter which field you're interested in, as long as you think deeply, fully use intuition, reasonably allocate sensibility and rationality, you will certainly gain some insights that transcend the personal realm. Sometimes I feel connected to great thoughts in architecture, poetry, books, and photographic works. Something like truth that cannot be obtained by personal thinking alone. It's an area that needs to be well read while getting help from inspiration and human wisdom. Go there, feel with your own body and mind. I think this is an act of temporarily putting aside the self. Living a stable life, having people you want to meet again, this is like having a safety rope tied to your back because you have the sense of security of being able to return to daily life again so you can explore deeply. Live in the present, don't lose yourself. At the end of this chapter, I want to tell you the story of Miss K, who was troubled by creation. One day, Miss K in her 20s came for counseling. Miss K works in a company while also doing paper cutting creation work. After seeing other creators' works, she felt depressed, thinking, if there are other more capable creators, doesn't my existence become meaningless? Why should I still create? She was very troubled by this. Through communication, I learned that Miss K is easily hijacked by others' evaluations. Because for paper cutting, there's a relatively clear standard for judging good and bad. That is, the more complex and detailed the work, the better. Whether in creation or work, the moment she has thoughts like, I want to do this, she desperately thinks about, how can I make others accept it? How can I get good reviews? Miss K, who realized this point after receiving counseling, thought about how she had always been striving for others' gaze. Her compassion for herself instantly pierced her heart, and her eyes couldn't help but turn red. At that moment, Miss K finally understood that A's work is great, B's work is also great. When others say this, they're not evaluating which is better or worse. On the way home after counseling, Ms. K felt that the advertisements hanging in the train also looked brighter and more beautiful than usual. She recalled, "I like various colors, and I'm also good at perceiving colors in detail, so I also color my paper cuttings." After that, when she saw other creators' works again and had thoughts like, this person is too good, how am I compared to her? She would think again, I'm appreciating a very amazing work. In the past, she aimed to enter competitions. Now she also thinks that if she doesn't feel like participating in competitions, it's better to give up competitions and focus on creation. Gradually, the moments when she felt depressed because of comparing with others became fewer and fewer. Now, for Miss K, creating because I'm happy, because I want to do it, because I want to see it myself, this kind of mentality is most important. Miss K often thinks, why was I troubled by paper cutting before? What changed to make me able to calmly do paper cutting now? Looking back, this is because in the past, she always thought about being needed by others. Inevitably getting stuck in the concept of whether it's paper cutting or work, it's not okay without ability. It has no meaning if not better than others. Now, she no longer pursues being needed by others, but focuses on being needed by herself. Naturally, she won't be troubled by external evaluations anymore. Later, Miss K held her first personal exhibition. She quit her job and became a freelancer, living a life mainly focused on creation. She said that being able to create work she likes is the happiest thing. Chapter 5. Happiness of Responsibility. What is the happiness of responsibility? Highly sensitive people have strong empathy. They carefully consider the consequences their actions will bring when doing things, so they often are conscientious and follow social norms. For highly sensitive people, the happiness of those around them is very important. I've provided counseling services to highly sensitive people on job selection issues before, and found that they naturally think, I want to make others happy, I want to make the world better. Some even consider the happiness of all humanity. Although the happiness of those around them is very important, enduring for others makes people feel suffocated. When for oneself and for others overlap, the combined force of the two allows highly sensitive people to exert their greatest strength. Let's take a look at part of the happiness of responsibility below. Seriously treating things you believe in, gaining tremendous energy from the smiles of those around you, simultaneously taking care of self-approval and sincerity towards others, considering the happiness of all humanity, feeling happy seeing intimate gestures of those around you, even if the object is not yourself. Highly sensitive people are polite, responsible, and can notice people in trouble at the first moment and lend a helping hand. They are gentle and friendly towards people, rich in empathy. People around them seem to be able to see that this person is very warm-hearted. So many highly sensitive people are often asked for directions, even in foreign countries. Recognizing your own way of dealing with people and things, while not losing sincerity towards others. When these 2 points coexist, highly sensitive people can exert their strength to the maximum extent. For example, in the field of body care, highly sensitive people feel that learning techniques from only one school has limited effects on improving clients' bodies, so they learn techniques from various schools to bring the best experience to clients. In the sales field, highly sensitive people provide the most thoughtful after-sales service to customers. Customers come to consume through word of mouth, and they can sell high-priced products without actively promoting. Seriously treating things you believe in brings good results to both yourself and customers. Extending the happiness of responsibility, do things you think are good. The sense of responsibility of highly sensitive people is reflected not only in their care for people around them, but also in their concern for people with distant relationships, the Earth's environment, animals and plants, etc. At work, they're not satisfied with, it's good enough for myself, but naturally want to make others happy, want to make the world better. Therefore, for highly sensitive people to fully exert their strength, they need to do things that don't go against their sense of responsibility. So far, I've seen highly sensitive people from all walks of life: sales, administration, engineers, nurses, doctors, teachers, performers, secretaries, traditional craftsmen, corporate managers. Regardless of profession, highly sensitive people who can maintain a happy state at work have one thing in common: they take what they think is good as their work. Highly sensitive people engaged in sales often tell me, if it's a product I sincerely think is good, I will sell it with full confidence. But sometimes I have to sell products I don't like or approve of, which makes me very painful. At first glance, this might seem natural and common, But in this world, many people will sell products they don't approve of because it's work. Highly sensitive people have strong perceptive abilities and can't tolerate even a little discomfort in their hearts. As long as they think, I don't really approve of this product that much, or the customer doesn't really need this, every time they sell this product, they will feel like they're lying, and this pressure will constantly accumulate in their hearts. On the contrary, if they think, I approve of this product, or this is useful for the customer, they will fully utilize their sensitivity to put effort into sales methods, enthusiastically promoting to customers, such as making easy-to-understand product explanation boards, or carefully capturing customers' needs while communicating with them. For highly sensitive people to exert their abilities at work without hesitation, it's necessary to engage in things they think are good. However, what is considered good varies from person to person. The good here is different from the worldly good and bad, the good and bad of income, or the that job is really good in others' mouths. Ultimately, what's important is how you view this job yourself. I tried asking some highly sensitive people and found that they might have completely opposite values, even for the same thing. Mr. A, who works in a sundries store, likes convenience products and creative products. It's said that his pleasure is to predict, will this sell well next, while ordering new products that are about to be put on shelves. While Meister B, who works in a wholesale market for sundries, feels uneasy seeing low-priced products circulating in large quantities. I hope everyone cherishes earth resources and uses items that can be used for a long time. After realizing this thought of his own, he's currently considering changing jobs. The common point between Mr. A and Mr. B is that they both work in sundries-related jobs, but their thoughts are poles apart. For Mr. A, dealing with sundries is happiness, but for Mr. B, sundries are contrary to human happiness. Here, I don't intend to evaluate which is better or worse. I just want to say that everyone's definition of good in their hearts is different. What you think is good, in other words, is what you value and cherish. If you engage in work that is good for you, then every time you work, you will think, I did a good thing today, that's great. And your inner heart will also feel very satisfied. Extending the happiness of responsibility, no need to help others excessively. A person who looked uncomfortable got on the bus, so I gave up my seat for them. My colleagues seemed to be looking for a listener, so I asked them what happened. Just like this, highly sensitive people always notice the troubles of those around them at the first moment and reach out to help. This is one of the strengths of this type of people. In the workplace, they also silently pay attention to people around them. Some highly sensitive people even convert others' joy into their own energy. Hearing the other person say thank you, I also became energetic. On the other hand, I often hear voices like this. Listening to a friend talk when I can barely take care of myself makes me feel exhausted. I always take the lead in doing difficult work in the department, so I'm always busy beyond measure, using the entire weekend to sleep and recover energy. If you lose your own time because of helping people around you, or feel frustrated because only I am doing it, that's a signal of excessive help. At this time, what needs to be done is believe in others' abilities. Understand that others will find ways for themselves. No need to help excessively after this. Life will become much easier at once. People's reaction speed to things varies individually. Some people will pick up the phone after it rings 3 times. Some will pick up after it rings 10 times. Some people will do risk prevention work in advance, while some will take action only after actual problems occur. Highly sensitive people easily notice problems quickly, so they usually reach out to others quickly as well. They often notice very early that this seems dangerous, or he seems to be in trouble, and can act in advance before the other person asks for help. As a result, situations like, I just watched on the side, he eventually solved the problem with his own ability, or I left it alone, he always has a way, will naturally decrease. But unconsciously, feelings like no one does anything, or if I don't do it, the workplace and family will be in a mess, will arise. However, others actually find ways more than you imagine. If it's not a life-threatening situation, even if you want to help the other person one step ahead, please restrain yourself by all means and try to prioritize yourself. By silently watching on the side, instead of immediately helping, you will see scenes of others solving problems on their own. For example, when you notice that a friend wants a listener, you don't have to ask what happened like usual, but cherish your inner voice. If you feel you're already exhausted because of your own things and have no energy to listen to others talk, then your friend will naturally go find someone else to confide in. And maybe at this time you will realize, I don't need to presumptuously think she can't do without me. Or in the workplace, When you encounter difficult problems and feel anxious because there are too many things to do, please put yourself first and leave those non-essential tasks that you usually work overtime to complete until you have time. During this period, you will find that the relevant responsible persons will complete these tasks on their own. At this time, you will realize that leaving it alone is also a solution. When you truly feel that others will find ways for themselves, and others are more capable than I imagined, you will feel much easier. Believe in others' abilities, and you won't worry. Is this okay? Should I do it first? But use actions to tell others that you will only take action only when things are really bad and only when asked. Then you will eventually understand that things will always have a way, and there's no need to help others excessively. This way, you will escape from the tense emotion of, I must do something, and have more energy to feel the goodwill of people around you. Regarding no need to help others excessively, I also want to tell everyone that doing your best for your own responsibilities will make society better. I actually want to quit my current job, but when I think about quitting will increase the burden on other colleagues, I hesitate. When I held gatherings for highly sensitive people, I found that everyone was more troubled than I imagined. I originally wanted to create a space where everyone could chat harmoniously, but now I'm wondering if I should also provide counseling for everyone. Highly sensitive people are like this. They can't help but want to do something for people in difficulty. What particularly makes them hesitate is, if I do as I want, it might trouble others. Moments when you think I should do this instead of I want to do this. Moments when you think I must become like him instead of I want to become like him. Moments when the phrase for everyone appears. At these moments, you're moving in a direction that deviates from your true heart. When you try hard for others while enduring, you won't get rewards. You'll want to get thanks from the other person, or have thoughts like, I've done so much, you should do it too, demanding the other person to work hard too. Sometimes you might even rationalize your willful behavior, questioning the other person. I've done so much, can't you be a little more tolerant? Therefore, even if it's for the other person's sake, if there's an element of endurance in it, you can't do your best, and the relationship with the other person will become less harmonious instead. People can exert their greatest ability when doing what they want to do. So please face your inner heart frankly, move towards the direction your heart wants to do. Through providing work-related counseling services to highly sensitive people, I deeply feel that everyone's work they want to do is vastly different. Therefore, for work that doesn't suit you and makes you feel uncomfortable, please leave it to people in this world who want to do and are good at it, while you do your best for the work you want to do. You don't need to be an all-rounder. You just need to do what you want to do while showing your own ideas and strengths. Only in this way can you attract people who resonate with your ideas and approve of your methods. Valuing your own thoughts, persisting in doing what you want to do, this way you can take care of both for yourself and for others. I believe that doing your best for your own responsibilities will, from the result, make the world better to the maximum extent. How to deal with news about accidents, incidents, disasters. At the end of this chapter, I want to tell everyone how to deal with news about accidents, incidents, disasters, etc. As mentioned earlier, highly sensitive people have very strong empathy abilities and can deeply understand others' sadness and pain. Therefore, sometimes the following situations occur. When seeing news about accidents, incidents, and disasters, even if you're not the person involved, you feel depressed for several days. Why is it like this? How is the situation now? As you continue to track the news, you feel worse and worse. What should highly sensitive people do at times like this? The key to dealing with this lies in the following 3 points. 1. Accept your emotions. As a highly sensitive person, you often think too much for the people involved, and often have thoughts of suppressing your own emotions like, don't feel too painful, or, because I'm in a safe place I can't say I'm scared. However, even if you're not the person involved, when facing news about accidents, incidents, disasters, etc., feeling sad, scared, unable to accept, various emotions surging up, these are all very natural reactions for humans. You don't need to force yourself to suppress your emotions, you just need to nod lightly, acknowledge, yes, I'm very sad. You can also try to confide in people around you or trustworthy people. I feel very sad that such a thing happened. 2. Don't amplify sad feelings. Once a major accident, incident, or disaster occurs, all reports will uniformly point to this matter. If you feel sad seeing these reports, please try to stay away from this information until your emotions calm down. Not watching reports doesn't equal indifference. It's better to think about what help you can provide after your emotions stabilize. 3. When understanding information, choose information based on facts. When you want to understand the situation or want to provide help, I suggest everyone take the following methods. Avoid programs that stir up audience emotions and fragmented online reports. Try to choose objective and complete news and broadcasts. Get information from the homepages of non-governmental organizations and nonprofit organizations. Information about NGO and NPO activities will be posted on their homepages. Understanding this follow-up support information is more reassuring than just seeing the on-site situation, and you can also contribute your own strength through these organizations, such as making personal donations. Donations. Make your mind peaceful. Make the world better. I suggest everyone make donations as much as possible within their ability on a continuous basis. I've been making fixed monthly donations to NGOs and NPOs for several years. The trigger for doing this was when a person experienced in disaster relief told me, after a disaster occurs, a large number of volunteers enter the scene in the short term, and donations also pour in, but these suddenly decrease after a period of time. Recently, the forms of donation have become diverse, such as selling secondhand books and branded goods and donating the money to NPOs. Donating to public welfare organizations through local governments when paying taxes in your hometown. Solving social problems in the form of crowdfunding, etc. Since I started making continuous donations, every time a disaster occurs, the anxiety in my heart that I must do something has been greatly alleviated. This is an unexpected derivative effect. I must do something is a feeling you have when you could have done something but haven't done it yet. I think as long as you truly feel that you've done what you can, even if it's just a little bit, anxiety will be alleviated. Now, my method is to make regular donations normally and add extra donations when disasters occur after my emotions have stabilized. When I first started donating, my understanding was still at the stage of, when it comes to donations, I think of the Red Feather Fund. And I didn't know at all what public welfare organizations there were and their respective roles. Later, through reading books written by organization representatives and information on social networks, I gradually understood the specific problems faced at disaster sites and the help provided by each organization. Regarding how to solve social problems, each organization takes different measures with their own characteristics. There are organizations that provide school admission relief funds for children from single-parent families or provide telephone counseling for people in difficulty, directly helping those involved. And there are also organizations specialized in releasing information online, as well as organizations dedicated to mobilizing political figures to collect public suggestions and reflect these suggestions and policies. In addition to donations, we can also provide support through various means, such as volunteering to register and distribute supplies, etc. You can choose a way that suits your own situation. Chapter 6. Happiness of Strong Empathy. What is the happiness of strong empathy? One of the characteristics of highly sensitive people is having very strong empathy abilities. According to research, compared to non-sensitive people, mirror neurons in the brains of highly sensitive people are more active. Highly sensitive people are more easily affected by the emotions of those around them than non-sensitive people. When others are happy, they are also happy. When others are down, they worry for them. Based on my experience in counseling work, highly sensitive people not only have deep empathy for people and animals, but also for objects and places. So, let's take a look at what kinds of happiness strong empathy brings. Feeling happy when seeing others happy. Feeling warm when seeing others' happy appearances, such as families that look harmonious, loving couples, etc. Having a strong sense of immersion when watching movies, able to fully enjoy the fun of movies, as if they are characters in them. Being deeply moved by artworks and music, resonating with objects such as appreciating handmade works and being immersed in them. Resonating with places. For example, highly sensitive people's moods calm down in solemn environments like cultural heritage sites, and enjoy good atmospheres and activities. Highly sensitive people are good at listening. Although there are individual differences, most highly sensitive people are good at listening. Highly sensitive people say that colleagues like to consult them about things at work, and they always play the role of listener when with friends. Some highly sensitive people even say, people I'm not very familiar with also confide their troubles to me. This doesn't require a technique, but just respecting the other person, listening carefully, and deeply understanding what they say. This delicate emotion of highly sensitive people makes them become good listeners. Even when facing people with different values from themselves, highly sensitive people won't easily deny the other person, but will think about the background of the other person's words, thinking, there can indeed be such thoughts, or this is not bad either. Listening to the other person's views with an open and inclusive attitude. Thinking about problems from the speaker's perspective will make the speaker feel understood and can express what they want to say with ease. The ability of highly sensitive people to listen well also brings strength to those around them. Choose a listening method that both you and the other person can accept. I've already introduced that highly sensitive people are good at listening, but if you feel really tired while listening, try to recall. Did you originally want to listen to the other person talk, or did you feel a sense of obligation, thinking, I must listen? Only when both parties want to listen, can conversation make people's state better. Both parties alternately play the roles of confessor and listener. Listen after speaking, speak after listening. This way, they can gain a sense of satisfaction. If your true thought is, I don't want to listen, you can't enter a state of pleasant listening. Human energy is limited after all. If there are people who keep talking about themselves but don't want to listen to others, such self-centered people, listening to them talk will be very tiring. Therefore, before communicating with people, you need to first confirm your true thoughts. If you don't want to listen or even feel bored, rather than forcing yourself to find clever listening techniques, it's better to focus your energy on not being caught by the other person or quickly escaping when caught. You can tell the other person, I'm not in a state suitable for listening to you talk now, I'm sorry next time. You can also tell yourself, listening to this person talk is tiring, run away quickly. Being good at listening is indeed a strength of highly sensitive people, but this ultimately needs to serve your own will. Only listen to others' confessions when you want to listen is the basic principle. Despite this, sometimes you still can't escape. How can you do it so that you don't deny the other person and make yourself more relaxed when listening? The key is not in agreeing or empathizing, but in understanding. Acknowledging that what the other person says is a fact for the other person, standing from this position to listen, you will think, I see, it's like this for this person, or this person is thinking like this now, and so on. Although it's acknowledging, you don't need to think too seriously about it. You just need to go along with what the other person says, like stamping on their words, saying yes. It's like this is enough. Using neutral language like, I see, is that so? To go along with the other person's words. Even if you don't clearly express agreement or denial, you can still show a warm attitude of, I'm listening. Agreeing with or empathizing with things that you don't think so is an act of forcibly twisting your mood, which will increase the burden of listening. But if you acknowledge, it's like this for you, you can listen to the other person's confession without denying while keeping a distance from the other person's thoughts. Oh, I see. If you go along and listen easily, the other person will also open up and talk about the background of their words. After understanding the other person's situation, you will naturally empathize with them. At this time, you can frankly express your feelings to the other person, such as, that must have been really hard. Empathy is a natural psychological state that arises in humans, not forcing yourself to, I must empathize. Using agreeing words like, is that so? Even if you don't force yourself to show empathy or agreement, you can gently listen to what the other person says. Use empathy ability for your own happiness. Here, I want to tell all highly sensitive people, please first use your empathy ability for your own happiness. Highly sensitive people can notice others' moods and states well, so they can empathize with others from their standpoint. But if you only care about the other person, being with others will actually increase your own burden. Highly sensitive people are originally people who can easily feel happy from friendly interactions with those around them, so it's necessary to keep a distance from people who make you feel it's too tiring to be with this person, and spend more time with those who make you feel comfortable and at ease. Prioritizing yourself is very important, even if you think it's a bit selfish. Some people might think, if I put myself first, won't it cause trouble for others? On this point, please rest assured, when you're satisfied, your inner heart will become peaceful, and you'll naturally have a different motivation to empathize with everything around you. You shouldn't think I must do something out of insecurity, but should be driven by I want, based on a sense of security. I just did it because I wanted to. If it makes others happy, I'll be happy too. If not, it's fine. Moreover, because highly sensitive people have very strong empathy abilities, they won't feel satisfied just by being happy themselves. My visitors are the same. When they're in difficult situations, they mainly talk about themselves. But once they recover, they'll say, I want to do my part for my family, or I want to help people who are in trouble like me. Moreover, they often pay attention to social issues. Correctly guide your feelings. When providing career-related counseling, I often encounter visitors like this. Others always come to me for advice, so I think becoming a counselor might be good, but I feel heavy-hearted when I hear others' troubles. Highly sensitive people have strong empathy abilities and can understand others' feelings well and put themselves in others' shoes. Precisely because of this, these people need to correctly guide their feelings. There are 3 periods in life. They are the period of healing pain, the period of returning to zero, and the period of exploring love and happiness. Life has peaks and valleys. We all need to go through these 3 periods and ultimately move towards happiness. When people are in pain, they also easily notice others' pain and approach it. However, when people's pain is healed, negative states return to zero, and they start moving forward in their own way, they will feel uncomfortable with people, things, and objects that stay in the world of pain. When what you were troubled by has become a distant past, people will sincerely not want to approach those who are currently suffering pain. People who have been focusing on others' pain all along, if they feel in their hearts there's been enough sadness or I've received too much pain from others, then please put your attention on your own happiness. Because you've experienced pain yourself, you'll pay attention to others' pain in the short term, but actually you prefer bright and happy things, feeling that's more suitable for you. Even if such people choose the counseling industry, I don't recommend them to engage in psychological counseling work aimed at resolving pain and troubles. These people are more suitable to be advisors who guide others on how to better exert their abilities. Valuing your own happiness doesn't mean ignoring people who are currently suffering pain, but saying to first live happily yourself, fully pursue peace and joy, and then help others within your ability. Don't be overly entangled by others' pain. Honestly, turn your gaze towards things you want to feel and do in the future. Things done because you want to do them will make you happy while also bringing happiness to those around you. People who work out of love have serious attitudes, are creative, and their energetic work state makes people feel good just by looking at them. This is true not only for work, but also for hobbies and housework. Most importantly, whether it's hobbies or housework, doing what you want to do will satisfy your inner heart and make it abundant. People in a state of happiness can naturally treat family and those around them gently. Therefore, I believe that guiding your feelings and making yourself happy can make the world better to the maximum extent. Why not good at small talk? For highly sensitive people with strong empathy abilities, having warm communication with those around them is particularly important. Highly sensitive people often tell me that on one hand they want to get along well with colleagues, on the other hand they are not good at small talk, can't chat with those around them, feeling lonely, not interested in topics everyone finds interesting, unable to join in. So, let's analyze this problem from the following aspects. Not good at small talk can be divided into 3 situations. I think you don't need to force yourself to chat with others, so the following content only applies to those who say, I hope I can learn to chat. 1. Don't like the other person. If you don't like the other person, your inner voice is, I'm not interested in this person, I don't want to deal with them, so even if we chat, we won't get along. If there are many people you don't like in the workplace, then this job might not be what you really want to do. There's an example like this. Someone who likes communicating with people and is suitable for reception, sales, and other work, thinking, I'm not suitable for detailed work, so they did administration, but ended up not getting along with colleagues who also do administration, instead having better relationships with salespeople. This is because doing work you're not good at easily creates deviations in values and other aspects with people around you. At times like this, rather than forcing yourself to blend in with your surroundings, it's better to talk more with people outside your department that you want to be close to, or find a place where you can rest at ease. Try to find ways that can make you relax. 2. Tend to have deep conversations. If you tend to have deep conversations, you'll feel that light small talk has no meaning, thus disliking small talk. Highly sensitive people have delicate and rich feelings, and are used to thinking deeply, so they rarely have people around them who have the same feelings. Rather than chatting idly with many people, they prefer to have deep conversations with a few people. During work breaks, rather than talking about TV shows, they're more willing to discuss how to improve work. Even when watching the same movie, they're more likely to immerse themselves emotionally than others. Not being able to chat together is neither your fault nor others' fault. It's just that the depth of thinking is different, and the way of perception is different. Just like people's heights vary, what level of thinking is just right also varies from person to person. This is just individual difference. There's no superiority or inferiority. If you compare the people around you to tropical fish, then you are a deep sea fish. There's no better or worse between people. They're just different, and that's all. If you think, I can't chat with those around me, or small talk has no meaning, then go find your deep sea fish companions. You should do what you want to do. Send out signals. Go look for objects you can have deep conversations with. Whether at work or in private, if you can find an object you can have deep conversations with, your inner heart will be satisfied. And you'll also start to enjoy the fun of small talk, feeling, it's not bad to chat idly occasionally. If you want to find someone who can confide delicate emotions too, I suggest you participate in gatherings for highly sensitive people. There you'll find people who have the same feelings as you and feel at ease because of this. To find gatherings for highly sensitive people, you can search for Highly Sensitive People Tea Party or Highly Sensitive People Exchange Meeting online. Such gatherings are held in various places in Japan. 3. Defensive psychology of no one understands even if I talk about myself. Among the situations of not being good at small talk, more than the content of conversation, not feeling spiritually connected with the other person makes people feel more lonely. If you are often denied during your growth process or lack experiences of being deeply understood, then unconsciously you'll develop a cognition of no one understands even if I talk about myself. If you don't have the feeling that you can speak out your thoughts, then you're just going along with the other person in the conversation. Always feeling unable to speak your true thoughts, so just listening to the other person, this is very boring. At this time, not to mention gaining energy from the conversation itself has become a burden. In this situation, I suggest that even for trivial small things, as long as they pop up in your mind, you should boldly express them. Even if it's not something useful for the other person, even if you have no clue. As long as you think of it, you can try to speak it out. In this world, speaking out your thoughts can be understood. Humans are really gentle creatures. After having such feelings, the defensive psychology in communicating with others will slowly crumble. You'll be able to switch from just listening to speaking while listening, enjoying the fun of small talk more than before. Those who fit the third point above, please be sure to try to find people who are spiritually connected with you. If you meet someone you can speak truthfully to, someone you can communicate deeply with, you'll understand what kind of wonderful feeling being spiritually connected with someone is. Even just saying, it's so cold today to them will make your heart feel warm. Even if it's a topic you're not interested in, if the other person is talking happily, you'll also feel, oh, this person likes this. That's nice. At that time, you'll find that no matter what the content and depth of the conversation is, your hearts are connected. Saying out your feelings a little bit, understanding the other person's feelings, time spent with others will also become more pleasant. So, how can you find people you can speak truthfully to, people you get along well with? One method is to output externally. This is a method of letting companions find you by expressing your thoughts. Another method is to start from small things, do what you want to do. Compared to the being found of external output, this is a method of actively seeking yourself. When you start doing what you want to do, you'll naturally meet congenial people. The congeniality mentioned here doesn't only refer to having the same interests, but also that you value similar things and have similar life attitudes. For example, when you start practicing yoga, you'll meet people who also want to take good care of their body and mind. After participating in gatherings for highly sensitive people, you'll meet people who also want to get to know highly sensitive people. When you start doing a side job, you'll meet people who are also trying to turn what they like into work and start making efforts, even if your work content is different. Regardless of age and identity, go to places you want to go, do things you want to do, and you'll meet life companions who can communicate deeply. Even if you feel now that there are no spiritually connected people, it's okay. Believe that the world is vast, such people definitely exist. My personal feeling after receiving many visitors is, after meeting one person who is spiritually connected with you, you'll meet 2, 3. After you meet one spiritually connected person, the big premise of there isn't that you've always believed in will be overturned, becoming there is. Taking there is as the premise to deal with people, you'll notice, there are spiritually connected people here. There are spiritually connected people there. A certain highly sensitive person once said, I'm very clumsy when chatting with friends, and I don't have anyone I can confide in, until he met a person slightly older than him who he could speak his mind to. The two got along better and better, and eventually became good friends. There's also a highly sensitive person who couldn't blend into the enthusiastic atmosphere around him since middle school, feeling, "Is there something wrong with my thoughts?" Later, he met good companions through expressing his delicate emotions on his blog. In this vast world, there must be people who can be spiritually connected with you. Not just one or two people, but many. So please try to send out signals. Go to places you want to go. Talk to people you want to approach. Follow your heart to act. Then the probability of meeting will increase. Please meet people who are spiritually connected with you in the vast world. Take deep empathy as a guide. Rediscover self. The empathy ability of highly sensitive people works not only for people, but equally for objects and places. They can use strong empathy as a guide to make life move in their own direction. To explain this problem, let's take a new look at what empathy is. Empathy is generated by communication, and communication has levels. We usually communicate in the world of thoughts, especially in the workplace. Business reports, contacts, negotiations, and other purpose-oriented communications are typical logical thinking communications in the head, with strong mutual benefit. The next layer of the thought world is the inner world. As the saying "speak from the heart" goes, true hearts are not in the thought world, but in the inner world. And in the inner world, empathy is at a deeper level than true heart. First, there's slight empathy like, "Somehow it feels very good," or "This person's article is very infectious." Then there's deep empathy that transcends personal domains. For example, empathy that touches the depths of the heart, transcending eras and cultures when appreciating artworks. People can feel deep empathy from various things. Are there things like music, tableware, paintings, creative products, etc., that make you feel calm inside as soon as you touch that world? These can make you produce deeper empathy than a casual "that's nice." When you see, hear, or hold them in your hands, your thoughts will calm down, your breathing will deepen, you can't help but sigh. Yes, it's like this. Whether it's music or objects, places, things that can make people produce deep empathy are things cherished in your life. For some people, such things might be a rural guest house. When they're in a quiet space, they'll feel this is their true stage. While for some people, it might be an exquisite bag. When people with craftsman qualities come into contact with high-quality items, they'll have thoughts like, "I also want to make things like this." Even if you're caught up in busy, daily life and lose yourself, you can rediscover yourself with deep empathy as a guide. Let go of mutual understanding, laugh heartily with everyone. I've already introduced to everyone the importance of autonomously choosing what to feel and methods of finding spiritually connected people. The last thing I want to tell everyone is, let go of mutual understanding, laugh heartily with everyone. Whether in the workplace or facing friends or partners, the key to building pleasant interpersonal relationships lies in making yourself and the other person free. When arguing with the other person, or when it's difficult to communicate, you might have thoughts of wanting to understand each other in your heart. However, while saying want to understand each other with your mouth, yet hoping the other person has the same thoughts and feelings as you, such situations are also inevitable. Only when you let go of the thought of mutual understanding can you establish good relationships with people who have different thoughts and feelings. Mutual understanding, that is, empathy between each other, is very important. It can make people gain energy. However, a person cannot mutually understand with everyone. Even family and friends cannot mutually understand on all things. If the thought of wanting to understand each other is too strong, you'll be led by the other person's attitude. Thoughts like, "Why can't you understand me?" easily make people feel anxious. To make the other person understand, I said it many times, but the other person still doesn't understand. At times like this, please try to switch the goal from being understood to providing information. Not wanting the other person to understand or wanting the other person to accept, but "this is what I think." Honestly provide information to the other person. Hope to be understood. Hope to be empathized with, hope to be accepted, etc. Our all control over the other person, trying to change the other person, will instead make the other person produce resistance. Telling the other person your thoughts and what you hope the other person will do is your thing. Whether the other person accepts or empathizes, after receiving the information is the other person's thing, it's decided by the other person. Tell the other person, "This is what I think." Sometimes you'll be understood, sometimes you won't be understood. This is all fine. Let go of control over the other person. Both you and the other person can gain freedom. This way, you can establish comfortable relationships with people who have different thoughts and feelings from you, thus establishing harmonious relationships with more people. Accept differences, the world will become broader. Doing counseling work made me feel the power of accepting differences. Being told, "Go, I understand, I think so too," certainly makes oneself happy, but that only represents that the other person's thoughts are the same as yours. If all your statements get approval or empathy, it's like talking to yourself. Then, no matter how you talk to the other person, you can't jump out of your own boundaries, always lonely. I see, although I don't know, but for you it's like this. Only when differences appear like this can you touch the warm heart that humans possess. Consideration for others, the measure to accept differences. The world also becomes broader because of this. When you feel this person is trying to understand me, the other person's words can reach your heart. Once you're accepted by others, the fear of your thoughts and feelings being rejected will also disappear. You'll start listening to opinions different from your own. After accepting differences, being told, "This is what I think," or "I feel there are also such thoughts," will give you deeper insights. You'll suddenly realize that besides your own thoughts, there are various kinds of thoughts in the world, and this might be a good thing. Conclusion. Accept yourself. Embrace the world. Listen to your inner heart. Connect with yourself. Feel the beauty of the sky. Connect with the sky. Experience others' gentleness. Connect with others. So-called feeling is integrating part of the object of feeling into your own heart. I think this is a kind of connection. When we focus on the feelings of our body and heart, connecting with ourselves, the sense of peace in our hearts will spread out. In busy daily life, sensitive antennas easily make us capture big and small things around us. But please first establish a connection with yourself, then establish connections with your surroundings with your most authentic self. This is the foundation of perceiving happiness. In the process of writing this book, I once again experienced that sensitivity is something that coexists with us. Feeling fully, thinking deeply, experiencing profoundly, such sensitivity is an important component of highly sensitive people themselves. It's not used as a weapon or tool. We should live with the belief that it's okay to feel anything, it's fine, growing freely. We need to liberate ourselves from the lifestyle of pursuing efficiency and productivity like faster, better. Turning towards a lifestyle of fully feeling the happiness of daily life like the sky is so beautiful, this is so delicious, the time of spacing out is so comfortable. I hope this book can bring you happiness. Thank you for watching. If you enjoyed this video, don't forget to like and subscribe. See you next time.